On a storm-soaked Baltimore night, Tova's hands are shaking so badly she can barely grip the espresso tray. Then she trips. Scalding coffee explodes across the chest of Lucien Vane, a mafia boss whose name empties entire boardrooms. Armed men reach for their weapons. The restaurant freezes. Everyone expects blood. But Lucien sees the bruises hidden beneath her sleeve, the terror in her eyes, that instinctive flinch when he lifts his hand. Instead of violence, he hands her a silk handkerchief and leaves behind a business card containing 5 chilling words. The door is open. That night, hiding the card inside her ruined shoes while her abusive husband sleeps, Tova feels something she hasn't felt in years, hope slipping into the apartment like contraband. What happens when a woman with nothing left to lose meets a man who recognizes her pain? Hit that like button and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. Stay until the end. You won't believe where this goes. What? The espresso machine hisses like something dying. Tova wipes down the same section of counter for the 3rd time in 5 minutes, because her hands need something to do or they'll start shaking again, and she can't afford that tonight. Not here. Not at Marcello's, where the tables cost more than her monthly rent, and the clientele arrive in cars that sound like predators purring. Her left wrist throbs beneath the foundation she caked over the bruises this morning. The makeup is expensive, bought with tips she hid inside a tampon box because Merritt checks her purse every night before bed. He counts the cash. Records it in a little notebook he keeps locked in his desk drawer. Sometimes he asks why she's short and she has to explain that someone undertipped or she spilled a drink and the manager docked her pay. Sometimes he believes her, sometimes he doesn't. Tonight the bruises are 5 days old. Yellowish green now, instead of purple. Merritt grabbed her wrist when she asked why he needed her grandmother's death certificate again. Just grabbed it and twisted until something popped and her vision went white. Then he'd smiled, said something about paperwork, estate things, nothing for her to worry about. Kissed her forehead like he hadn't just ground the bones in her wrist together. The restaurant is unusually quiet for a Friday. Only 7 tables occupied. The kind of quiet that makes every sound too loud. Silverware scraping porcelain, ice shifting in water glasses, the low murmur of conversation that stops whenever she approaches a table. Table 12 orders another round of espresso. 4 men in suits that probably cost more than her car. Well, Merritt's car. Everything is Merritt's car, Merritt's apartment, Merritt's wife. She's just borrowing the space her body takes up. She prepares the drinks with the focus of someone defusing a bomb. Each shot pulled perfect. Each cup wiped clean. The tray balanced just right because her manager Marco already warned her twice this month about her hands shaking. You got some kind of problem, Tova? You sick? You on something? And she'd lied. Said it was low blood sugar. Skipped breakfast. He'd looked at her the way people look at roadkill. A moment of pity before moving on because what can you do, really? The tray is heavier than it should be, or maybe her arms are just tired. She's been tired for 3 years straight. Tired the way buildings get tired before they collapse. She navigates between tables, focusing on not spilling, not dropping, not making any mistakes because mistakes have consequences. And she's already used up this month's allowance of consequences. Merritt keeps a mental tally. He's good with numbers. That's what made him so successful, he likes to remind her. He remembers everything. Every time she burned dinner. Every time she forgot to pick up his dry cleaning. Every time she cried too loud and embarrassed him in front of neighbors. Table 12 is in the back corner. Private booth. The kind reserved for people who don't want to be seen or interrupted. She's 3 steps away when her ankle rolls. Not much, just enough. The tray tilts. Physics takes over. 4 cups of near-boiling espresso launch forward in a dark wave that seems to happen in slow motion and all at once. The liquid hits the man in the center booth square in the chest. For one frozen second, the entire restaurant holds its breath. The man doesn't move. Coffee drips from his silk tie onto his lap. Steam rises from the fabric. He's older than she expected, mid-40s maybe, with iron-gray temples and the kind of face that's seen things most people only have nightmares about. Sharp jaw, pale gray eyes that could be beautiful if they weren't so cold. Then she recognizes him. Lucien Vane. She knows the name the way everyone in Baltimore knows the name. The stories, the rumors, the way conversation dies when he enters a room. Marco had pointed him out once, months ago, warned her to be invisible if he ever came in. That man owns half the harbor and all the people who work it. You spill something on him, you don't apologize. You just start running. She's not running. She can't move at all. The three men with Lucian are already rising from their seats, hands disappearing inside suit jackets. The temperature in the restaurant drops 20 degrees. Other diners are staring now, some reaching for phones, others just frozen like her, watching something terrible about to happen. I'm sorry. The words scrape out of her throat. I'm so sorry. I'll get towels. I'll pay for the cleaning. Don't move. Lucien's voice is quiet, controlled. The kind of quiet that's worse than shouting. She doesn't move. He stands slowly. Coffee drips from his jacket onto the floor. $200 shoes probably ruined. Maybe more. She doesn't know what shoes like that cost. She's wearing the ones with the sole coming apart that she glues back together every few days. Lucian steps forward. She steps back. Hits the edge of an empty table behind her. Nowhere to go. He reaches toward her face. She flinches. Hard. Whole body jerking backward. Can't help it. 3 years of marriage taught her what comes after a man's hand moves that fast. But his hand stops. Hovers in the air between them. Something changes in his eyes. The coldness cracks. Not much. Just enough for something else to show through. He's staring at her wrist, at the foundation that's starting to smear from sweat and humidity, at the yellow-green shadow showing through beneath it. Then his gaze moves up to her face, really looks at her, not the way Merritt looks at her, cataloging mistakes, calculating punishments. Different. Like he's seen something he recognizes, something familiar and painful. The moment stretches. One of his men shifts weight. Boss? Lucien doesn't acknowledge him. He reaches into his jacket pocket, the inside one, and pulls out a folded white handkerchief. Silk. Monogrammed. Probably costs more than her weekly paycheck. He holds it out. Your hands, he says quietly. They're burned. She looks down. He's right. Her palms are bright red where the espresso splashed back on her. She hadn't even felt it. Too much adrenaline. Too much fear overriding everything else. She takes the handkerchief with shaking fingers. It's soft. Expensive. The kind of thing she'd never be able to afford to replace. I'll wash it, she whispers. I'll bring it back. Keep it. He's still watching her. Not her hands now, her face. The way someone looks at a puzzle they're trying to solve. Then Marco appears from nowhere, face flushed and panicked. Mr. Vane, sir, I am so incredibly sorry. This is completely unacceptable. He grabs Tova's arm, right on the bruise. She gasps. Can't help it. She's fired. Effective immediately. I'll cover your dry cleaning costs personally, and of course tonight's meal is, let go of her. Marco freezes, still gripping her arm. Sir? Her arm. Let go. Marco releases her like she's electrified. Steps back. Of course. How long has she worked here? About 8 months. But I assure you, is she good at her job? Marco blinks, confused. Yes. I mean, normally, yes. She's very, Then she's not fired. Lucian finally looks away from Tova. Focuses on Marco with the kind of attention that makes people confess to crimes they didn't commit. She had an accident. Accidents happen. She apologized. We're done here. But your suit is replaceable. He pulls a business card from his wallet. Not the kind with a company name and phone number. Just a plain black card with embossed silver numbers. No logo. No identification. He sets it on the table beside Tova's abandoned tray. If you need anything, he says, still speaking to Marco but looking at Tova, call that number. Then he turns to leave. His men follow. The restaurant starts breathing again as the door closes behind them. Conversations resume. Silverware clinks. Someone laughs nervously. Marco is staring at the business card like it might explode. What the hell was that? Tova doesn't answer. She's looking at the card too, at those silver numbers catching the light, at the handkerchief still clutched in her burned hand. Marco picks up the card, studies it. He just left. Didn't even ask for comp. Didn't threaten to burn the place down. Lucian Vane just walked out like nothing happened. He looks at her. Really looks at her. What did you do? I spilled coffee on him. Yeah, I saw that part. I mean, after. Nothing. I didn't do anything. But that's not entirely true. She flinched. And he saw it. Saw the bruises. Saw something that made him stop being whoever he usually is and become someone else for 30 seconds. Marco is still talking. Something about how lucky she is. How she should play the lottery. How in 20 years of working restaurants, he's never seen anything like that. She nods at appropriate moments, but she's not really listening. She's thinking about the way Lucian looked at her wrist. Like he knew. Yeah. The apartment is dark when she gets home at midnight. Merritt is asleep on the couch, television flickering blue light across his face. Empty beer bottles on the coffee table. 3 of them. That's good. 3 means he's tired but not angry drunk. 5 or more and she knows to be extra quiet. To move through the apartment like a ghost. She sets her purse down silently, slips off her shoes by the door. The sole on the right one finally gave up completely tonight, came completely detached during her shift. She'd duct taped it back together in the bathroom. Now the tape is peeling. In the bathroom, she runs cold water over her burned palms. They're blistering. Should probably see a doctor. Won't. Merritt monitors the insurance statements, questions every charge. Last time she went to urgent care for what turned out to be a cracked rib, he'd made her explain why she was so clumsy, made her apologize for wasting his money on x-rays. She dabs at the burns with Lucien's handkerchief, then catches herself. This thing probably costs $50. More. She shouldn't be using it as a washcloth. She holds it up to the light. The monogram is elegant, subtle. LV in script letters. Lorenzo Vane? Leonardo? She doesn't know his first name, just the reputation, just the stories about harbor warehouse fires and people who disappeared asking the wrong questions. In the bedroom, she hides the business card inside her left shoe, the one with the ruined sole. Tucks it down into the toe where Merritt would never think to look, even if he searched her things. Which he does. Not every day, but enough. Random inspections, making sure she's not hiding money, not hiding pills, not hiding anything that might suggest she's planning something. She lies down on her side of the bed fully dressed. Too tired to change. Too tired to think about what happened tonight. But her brain won't shut off. If you need anything, what does that even mean? What could she possibly need that a man like Lucian Vane could provide? Protection, money, a way out. And why would he offer? Because she flinched? Because he saw bruises on a waitress and felt momentarily charitable? People like Lucy and Vane don't do charity. They do business. Everything is a transaction. Everything has a price. So what would he want in return? She closes her eyes. Tries to sleep. Can't. At 2 a.m, Merritt stumbles into the bedroom. She pretends to be asleep. He strips down to his boxers, climbs under the covers, and within minutes he's snoring. The same wet, rattling sound that's been the soundtrack to her nights for 3 years. She stares at the ceiling. Thinks about the card hidden in her shoe, about the silk handkerchief folded in her work bag, about the way Lucien's expression changed when he saw her bruises. The door is open. That's what the card means, isn't it? Some kind of offer, some kind of invitation to what? Walk into a different nightmare? Trade Merritt's fists for Lucien's control? She knows better than to trust men who offer help. Help always comes with conditions, always comes with prices she can't afford to pay. But she also knows that doors don't stay open forever. Saturday morning. Merritt is cheerful. That's worse than when he's angry. Cheerful Merritt means he wants something. He makes breakfast, eggs and toast, overcooked. She eats it anyway, says it's delicious. He beams like a child receiving praise. So I need you to sign something, he says casually, pouring more coffee. Just estate paperwork, your grandmother's property transfer. Her stomach tightens. I thought we already did that. This is the final round, last few signatures, and it's all settled, all legal, all official. Can I read it first? His smile doesn't change, but something hardens behind his eyes. You don't trust me? That's not what after everything I've done for you, taking you in after your grandmother died, paying all the bills while you work part-time at a restaurant, and you don't trust me to handle some basic estate paperwork? The shift is so fast she almost gets whiplash. One second he's making breakfast, next second she's ungrateful, suspicious, the bad guy. I trust you, she says quietly. I just thought I should read. It's 30 pages of legal jargon, Tova. You wouldn't understand half of it. That's why I have lawyers. That's why I'm handling this. So you don't have to worry. He sets the document in front of her. Dense paragraphs of text. Signatures and initials needed on pages 8, 15, and 22. Little colored sticky tabs marking the spots. She picks up the pen. Something inside her screams to stop, to read every word, to call a lawyer of her own. But that would require money she doesn't have, and time Merritt won't give her. And the confrontation that would follow if she refused to sign would be worse than whatever these papers say. That's how he wins. Not with fists. Well, not only with fists, he wins by making resistance more painful than surrender. She signs. He watches every stroke of the pen, smiling. When she finishes, he kisses the top of her head. That's my girl, see? That wasn't so hard. He leaves for the gym 20 minutes later. Saturday ritual, 3 hours of lifting weights and shooting the shit with his business partner, Kyle. He'll come home pumped full of endorphins and testosterone, wanting sex, wanting her to admire his physique in the bedroom mirror while he flexes and talks about protein intake and muscle groups. The second his car pulls out of the parking lot, she's moving. The document is still on the table. She photographs every page with her phone, doesn't read them yet, just documents them. Sends them to an email address she created 2 years ago that Merritt doesn't know exists. An account she checks on the library computer once a month, never from her phone, never from the apartment. Then she hides the card from her shoe inside her bra, right between her breasts where it presses against her sternum. A secret pressing into her skin. She takes the bus to the library downtown, uses a guest computer, logs into the hidden email, opens the photos of the paperwork she just signed. It takes her 40 minutes to understand what she's reading. When she does, she has to put her head between her knees to keep from passing out. The documents aren't estate transfers. They're power of attorney authorizations, financial guardianship papers, psychiatric evaluation requests, commitment orders pending medical review. Merritt isn't managing her inheritance. He's building a legal framework to have her institutionalized. The dates go back months. The psychiatric evaluation signed by a Dr. Raymond Holt, MD, describe her as increasingly unstable, paranoid, delusional, a danger to herself. They recommend inpatient treatment, long-term care. The signatures on the evaluation forms look like hers, but she never signed them. Never saw a Dr. Holt. Never had any psychiatric appointments. The property transfers are buried in there too. Her grandmother's waterfront properties. 3 buildings along Baltimore's Inner Harbor worth at least $30 million combined, all signed over to a holding company called Meridian Coastal Properties, LLC. She traces the LLC back through 3 shell corporations before hitting a wall. But one of the listed partners in the third shell is Councilman Adrian Locke. She knows that name. Merritt golfs with him. They have dinner once a month at the Capitol Grill. Merritt comes home from those dinners smelling like scotch and cigar smoke, grinning like he's gotten away with something. Her hands are shaking so badly she can barely type. She searches Dr. Raymond Holt, finds an obituary from 4 months ago, car accident on I-95. Single vehicle collision, no other cars involved. He left behind a wife and 2 teenage daughters. The funeral was held at Woodlawn Cemetery. Donations requested to Johns Hopkins Psychiatric Research in his name. Merritt murdered him. She knows that the way she knows her own heartbeat. The timing is too perfect. The evaluation stopped the month he died. No more psychiatric assessments after his signature was no longer available. She prints everything, uses the coins she's been saving in her coat pocket. 37 pages. Stuffs them inside a manila envelope from the library's lost and found box. Outside the library, she stands on the steps, breathing cold November air, watching traffic pass. She could go to the police, show them the forged signatures, the dead psychiatrist, the shell companies. They'd investigate. Maybe. Probably. Merritt has friends on the force, but not everywhere. Someone would have to take it seriously, but investigations take time, and in that time, Merritt would know. Would know she went to police, would know she copied documents, would know she's trying to escape, and before any investigation concluded, she'd be committed to a psychiatric facility based on those forged evaluations. Locked away. Medicated. declared incompetent. And by the time anyone sorted through the paperwork, if they ever did, the property transfers would be complete, irreversible, legal. She thinks about the business card pressed against her chest. If you need anything, this qualifies as anything. She finds a payphone outside a bodega 3 blocks away. Hasn't used a payphone in years. Didn't know they still existed. Drops in coins, dials the number from the card. It rings once. Yes? Male voice, not Lucian, younger, flat tone. Her voice cracks. I need to speak to Lucian Vane. Silence. Then, who is this? He gave me this number last night at Marcello's. He said if I needed anything, name. Tova. Tova Calloway. More silence. She can hear him breathing, hear what sounds like typing in the background. Where are you? Patterson Park, near the library. Stay visible. Stay public. Someone will be there in 10 minutes. Dark blue Audi. Plates ending in 847. Driver's name is Roman. He'll bring you somewhere safe. How do I know? You don't. That's the point. You called the number. You made the choice. Now you trust it or you don't. The line goes dead. She stands there holding the phone, listening to the dial tone, thinking about that word. Trust. What a joke. She hasn't trusted anyone in 3 years, longer, maybe never. But she doesn't have anywhere else to go. 9 minutes later, a dark blue Audi pulls up to the curb. The driver doesn't get out, just rolls down the window. He's younger than she expected. Early 30s, maybe. Dark hair, sharp suit, the kind of face that's forgettable until you see the eyes and realize nothing about this man is forgettable. Tova? She nods. Get in. She does. Roman drives in silence, doesn't ask questions, doesn't make small talk, just navigates through Baltimore traffic like he's done this road 1,000 times. Maybe he has. Maybe this is what he does. Collects broken people at Lucian Vane's request and delivers them to wherever broken people go. They end up in the Harbor District, old industrial area being slowly converted to lofts and breweries and artisan shops. Roman parks behind a warehouse with no signage, leads her through a service entrance that requires a key card and a numeric code. Inside, the warehouse is nothing like she expected. Clean, modern, exposed brick and polished concrete floors, track lighting, expensive furniture that looks uncomfortable, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the harbor. Lucien is standing near those windows when they enter. Same suit from last night, but different. Changed clothes, obviously. He turns when he hears them approach. He looks tired. Or maybe he always looks tired and she just didn't notice before. Thank you, Roman. Roman nods once and disappears through a side door. Tova stands there holding her manila envelope, suddenly aware of how she must look. Hasn't showered, still wearing yesterday's clothes, hair pulled back in a messy knot, probably smells like bus exhaust and fear. You want to sit? Lucian gestures toward a leather couch that probably costs more than her car, than Merritt's car. I want to know why you gave me that card. He considers that, takes his time answering. I recognize something. What? Fear. The kind that it doesn't come from spilled coffee or dropped trays. The kind that lives in your bones. That makes you flinch before anyone even touches you. He pauses. I had a sister. She used to flinch like that. Used to? She died 8 years ago. I'm sorry. Don't be. You didn't kill her. But something in his tone suggests someone did. What's in the envelope? She hands it to him, watches while he reads. His expression doesn't change. Not when he reaches the psychiatric evaluations. Not when he finds the property transfers. Not when he gets to the dead doctor. He just reads. Methodical. Thorough. Like he's reading a grocery list instead of evidence of fraud and conspiracy and planned institutionalization. When he finishes, he sets the papers down carefully, very carefully, the way someone handles something explosive. How long have you been married? 3 years. The bruises? Started about 6 months in. You ever try to leave? Twice. First time he found me at a motel in Virginia, dragged me back. Second time I made it to my friend Sarah's place. He showed up with flowers and tears and apologies in front of her whole family, made me look crazy for running, made himself look like the devoted husband trying to help his unstable wife. She swallows. Sarah stopped answering my calls after that. Lucien nods like this is all very reasonable, very predictable. And the properties? Did you know about them? I knew my grandmother left me something. I didn't know it was worth $30 million. She died when I was 23. Merritt and I got married 6 months later. He said he'd handle all the estate paperwork. Said it was complicated. Said I didn't need to worry about it. Let me guess. You never saw a dollar. He said it was tied up in trusts. Long-term investments. Better not to touch it. Let it grow. And you believed him. It's not a question, but she answers anyway. I didn't know any better. I was 23 and alone, and he seemed like he had his shit together. He seemed safe. She laughs, bitter. Shows what I know. Lucian walks to a desk on the far side of the room, opens a drawer, pulls out a laptop, spends 5 minutes typing, not looking at her, just working. She watches the harbor through the windows, watches cargo ships moving slowly through the water, watches seagulls circling garbage barges. Finally, he speaks. Meridian Coastal Properties, LLC, is owned by a shell corporation registered in Delaware. That shell is owned by another shell in the Caymans. That one connects to a development company called Harbor Trust Holdings. The managing partner of Harbor Trust is Councilman Adrian Locke. I know, I saw that. Did you see the shipping contracts? What? He turns the laptop to face her, shows her a spreadsheet, columns of numbers and dates and shipping container IDs. Harbor Trust Holdings controls 3 warehouses along the harbor. Those warehouses process imports, mostly seafood, frozen fish from overseas, except some of those containers aren't full of frozen fish. What are they full of? He doesn't answer directly, just pulls up another document. Shipping manifests. Container weights that don't match declared cargo weights. Refrigeration units running on different temperature settings than frozen seafood would require. Customs inspections that were mysteriously waived or delayed. People, she whispers. Women mostly. Some children. Brought in through the ports, distributed inland. Your properties, your grandmother's properties, they're part of the logistics network. Storage, temporary housing, transit points. He closes the laptop. Your husband didn't just steal your inheritance. He turned it into infrastructure for human trafficking. The room tilts. She sits down hard on the expensive couch, puts her head in her hands. How long? Her voice sounds far away. How long has this been happening? Best guess? 4 years. Right around the time Councilman Locke started pushing his waterfront revitalization initiatives, development projects, harbor improvement, all very public, very praised. And beneath it all, they've been running people through those docks like cargo. She's going to be sick. Actually going to vomit right here on this polished concrete floor. I signed papers this morning. He made me sign more papers. I didn't know what they were. I thought, show me. She pulls out her phone, shows him the photos she took before leaving the apartment. He studies them, face still blank, still expressionless. But something about the way he's holding the phone suggests rage underneath. Tightly controlled but present. These are commitment orders, he says finally, pending psychiatric review. He's laying groundwork to have you institutionalized within the next 30 days. Can he actually do that? With forged psychiatric evaluations from a doctor who's conveniently dead and can't be cross-examined? And with cooperative judges on Locke's payroll? Yes, he can absolutely do that. You'd be locked in a psychiatric facility before you could hire a lawyer. And by the time any lawyer got through the paperwork, the property transfers would be finalized. Legal, irreversible. So I'm fucked. Not necessarily. She looks up at him. What does that mean? It means you have options. Not many. Not good ones. But options. Like what? You disappear. Tonight. We move you somewhere safe, somewhere your husband can't find you. We build a case. Gather evidence. Expose everything. The fraud. The trafficking. The connections to Locke. We burn it all down. He pauses. But that takes time. Months probably. Maybe longer. And during that time, you're hidden. No contact with anyone from your old life, no phone calls, no social media, no slipping up. You'd be a ghost. And if I don't want to disappear, then you go home. Sign whatever papers he puts in front of you. Hope someone eventually notices you're missing when he has you committed. Hope someone cares enough to investigate. Hope you're not medicated into a vegetative state before that happens. He meets her eyes. But I don't think you'd be here if you were choosing that option. He's right. She wouldn't be. Why are you helping me? I already told you. I recognize something. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She stands, walks to the windows, looks out at the harbor, at the same water that's been hiding these horrors in plain sight. How many women? How many children? How many people vanished into those containers while she served coffee and went home to a man who smiled and called her baby and planned her erasure? What happens to him? She asked quietly. To Merritt, if we do this. If we expose everything. Prison. If we do it right. Long sentence. Federal charges, trafficking, fraud, conspiracy. Maybe accessory to murder if we can connect him to the doctor's death. Not good enough. Lucien moves to stand beside her at the window. Doesn't touch her, just stands close enough that she can feel his presence. Solid, real, different from Merritt in ways she can't quite articulate. What would be good enough? He asks. She thinks about the question. Really thinks about it. What does she want? Merritt dead? Maybe. But death is too quick, too clean, too much like an ending when what he deserves is something ongoing, something that never stops. I want him destroyed, she says finally. Not killed. Destroyed. I want everyone to know what he is, what he did. I want his name in headlines. I want his friends to abandon him. I want him to watch everything he built collapse. I want him to know it was me, that I'm the one who burned it all down. She turns to face Lucien. Can you do that? Yes. No hesitation, no doubt, just yes. What's it going to cost me? Nothing, she laughs, harsh. Nobody does anything for nothing. You're right, nobody does. So let me be clear about what I get out of this. He's still looking at her with those pale gray eyes that see too much. I get to destroy Councilman Adrian Locke. I get to dismantle a trafficking network that's been using my harbor. Yes, my harbor. I own half the commercial docks. To move human cargo. I get to eliminate competition and send a message to everyone else who thinks they can run dirty operations through my territory. And I get to watch your husband realize he picked the wrong person to bury. He tilts his head. That's what I get. Not nothing. I get quite a lot, actually. So I'm just convenient. You're the key. There's a difference. She wants to argue, wants to find the trap, the catch. The moment where this turns into something else. But she's too tired, too scared, too desperate, and maybe, possibly, he's telling the truth. Okay, she says. Okay, I'll disappear. We'll build the case. We'll burn it all down. You're sure? Do I look sure? No, you look terrified, but you're still saying yes. Because being terrified here is better than being terrified at home. Lucien nods once. Roman will take you to a safe house. It's secure, fully stocked. You'll have everything you need. I'll have investigators start pulling records, financial documents, shipping manifests, everything we can get on Meridian Coastal, Harbor Trust Holdings, and Councilman Locke. It's going to take time. How much time? Months, maybe 6, maybe more. Building a case that's airtight enough to withstand the kind of legal defense Locke can afford. That takes precision. 6 months. Half a year of her life spent hiding, waiting, but also half a year without Merritt's hands on her, without walking on eggshells, without checking her reflection every morning for new bruises. Can I get some things from the apartment first? Clothes? My laptop? No. You go back. He'll know something's wrong. He'll see it in your face. We'll get you new things, new everything, new phone, new laptop, new clothes. You start over, clean slate. He'll report me missing. Let him tell police his wife disappeared. Let them investigate. They won't find you. And when we're ready, when we have everything we need, then you come back. Then we show the world exactly who Merritt Calloway is. She's nodding before she realizes it, committing to something enormous and terrifying and possibly stupid, but also possibly the only chance she's ever going to get. There's one more thing, Lucien says. The doctor, Raymond Holt. You said he died 4 months ago. Car accident. That's what the obituary said. I want to know if it really was an accident. If it wasn't, if someone helped him crash that car, then we have murder, and murder changes everything. She hadn't thought about that. About the doctor's widow. About his 2 teenage daughters. About whether Merritt killed him or just benefited from a convenient accident. Except she doesn't believe in convenient accidents. Not anymore. Not in a world where her husband forges psychiatric evaluations and steals inheritances and runs trafficking networks through her dead grandmother's buildings. Find out, she says, please. I will. Roman reappears, silent as ever. Lucien nods to him. Take her to the harbor house, get her set up, make sure she has everything. Roman gestures toward the door. This way. Tova follows, gets 3 steps before stopping, turns back. Thank you, she says. For the card, for this, for... Don't thank me yet. Lucien's expression is unreadable. Thank me when it's over, when he's in a cell and you're free. Thank me then. She nods, leaves. In the Audi driving through Baltimore toward wherever the safe house is, she thinks about that word again. Free. What does that even mean? She's been a prisoner for so long she's not sure she remembers what freedom feels like. But maybe she's about to find out. Roman drives for 30 minutes, takes her to a row house in Fells Point. Brick exterior, blue door, window boxes with dead flowers from last season. Looks completely normal, completely unremarkable. Inside it's different. Reinforced door frame, security system that looks military grade. Windows with interior steel shutters. A gun safe in the hall closet. There's food in the kitchen, Roman says, leading her through. Clothes in the bedroom upstairs should fit you. Laptop on the desk is clean, encrypted, untraceable. Don't use your old email. Don't contact anyone from your old life. Don't go outside unless absolutely necessary. If you need anything, there's a phone in the kitchen drawer. 1 button. It calls me. I'm 10 minutes away. Always. Understand? Yes. Good. He hands her a key. Lock the door when I leave. Don't open it for anyone except me or Lucien. Not the police, not the mailman, not your husband if he somehow finds this place, which he won't. No one. Clear? Clear. He leaves. The door locks behind him with a heavy click, and suddenly Tova is alone. Really alone. For the first time in 3 years. She walks through this house slowly, checking rooms, opening closets, finding the clothes Roman mentioned, basic stuff, jeans and t-shirts and sweaters, but new and clean and in her size. Finding the kitchen fully stocked with groceries, finding the bathroom with soap and shampoo and toothbrushes still in packaging. In the bedroom upstairs, she sits on the bed, stares at the wall, tries to process what just happened. This morning, she was signing papers in her apartment. Now she's in a safe house owned by a mafia boss, planning to expose her husband's trafficking network. Her phone buzzes. Merritt, where are you? Her finger hovers over the screen. She could answer, make up an excuse, say she went to the store, say she's visiting a friend, say anything that keeps him calm for a few more hours while she figures out what to say when she doesn't come home tonight. But Lucien said no contact. Clean break, new phone, new everything. She turns off the phone, sits there holding it in the growing darkness. Somewhere in Baltimore, Merritt is wondering where she is. Probably annoyed, maybe worried. Soon he'll be angry. Then he'll be searching, calling her friends, calling hospitals, calling police, making himself look like the concerned husband. And she'll be here, hiding, planning, gathering evidence to bury him. The bruise on her wrist throbs. She touches it gently, thinks about all the other bruises, the ones that faded, the ones that stayed, the ones no one ever saw because she got very good at hiding them. Not anymore. Outside, Baltimore hums its evening sounds. Traffic, sirens, music from bars. Normal life continuing while hers splits into before and after. She lies down on the bed. Doesn't bother changing clothes. Just lies there in the dark, still wearing yesterday's shirt. Still smelling like coffee and fear and the beginning of something she can't name yet. But it feels like anger. And anger, she thinks, might be exactly what she needs. The first 3 days, she barely leaves the bedroom. Not because Roman told her to stay inside, because she can't make her body move properly, can't make her brain stop cycling through the same loop of panic and relief and guilt and terror. She lies in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to sirens pass on the street below, waiting for Merritt to kick down the door, even though she knows he doesn't know where she is. Can't know. Logically, she understands that, but logic and 3 years of conditioning don't speak the same language. On the fourth morning, she forces herself downstairs, makes coffee, burns the first pot because she forgets it's brewing and lets it evaporate into black sludge on the heating element, makes a second pot, drinks it standing at the kitchen window, watching early commuters hurry past with their travel mugs and their briefcases and their normal problems like traffic and deadlines and what to have for lunch. The encrypted laptop sits on the desk in the corner. She's been avoiding it, avoiding the work. The reason she's here. But avoiding it won't make Merritt disappear, won't make the trafficking network collapse, won't do anything except waste time. She opens it. The desktop is clean. One folder labeled Meridian. Inside there are dozens of subfolders. Financial records, shipping manifests, property deeds, offshore account statements, corporate registration documents. Someone, probably Lucien's investigators, has been busy. She starts with the property deeds, her grandmother's buildings, 3 of them, all along the inner harbor. She recognizes the addresses even though she hasn't seen them in years. Her grandmother used to take her there when she was a kid, before she got sick, before everything fell apart. They'd walk the harbor on Sunday afternoons, and her grandmother would point to those buildings and say, "Someday these will be yours, Tova. Take care of them. They're the only things that matter. Now they're processing stations for human cargo." She clicks through the shipping manifests next. Container numbers, arrival dates, declared contents versus actual weights. The discrepancies are obvious once you know what you're looking at. A container declaring frozen mackerel shouldn't weigh 3 tons more than the fish it supposedly contains. Refrigeration units set to 58 degrees Fahrenheit aren't keeping anything frozen. They're keeping people alive. Her stomach turns. She opens a different folder. Financial records. Bank statements for Meridian Coastal Properties, LLC. Monthly deposits ranging from $50,000 to $200,000. Money flowing in, money flowing out. Shell companies layered on shell companies. Delaware, Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands. The kind of structure designed specifically to hide the origin and destination of funds. She's good with numbers. Always has been. That's why her grandmother encouraged her to study accounting in college before she dropped out when the old woman got cancer. That's why she can look at these records and see the patterns, see the rhythm. Money comes in from overseas accounts, gets distributed through domestic accounts, ends up in Councilman Locke's campaign fund, or his development company, or his wife's charity foundation. It's all right there. 15 minutes into reading, she has to stop, go to the bathroom, vomit up the coffee, kneel on the cold tile floor with her forehead pressed against the toilet seat, shaking. Her grandmother's buildings, her inheritance, used for this. And she'd signed papers authorizing it, signed them without reading. Signed them because Merritt smiled and called her baby and made her feel stupid for asking questions. She rinses her mouth, goes back downstairs, keeps working. By noon, she's made a spreadsheet, cross-referenced container numbers with arrival dates, matched financial deposits to shipping schedules, found the pattern. Every major deposit corresponds to a container arrival. Every container arrival corresponds to a deposit 48 to 72 hours later, like clockwork. The most recent deposit was 6 days ago. $143,000. That means there are people in those buildings right now. She's staring at the screen, trying to decide what to do with that information when the phone in the kitchen drawer buzzes. She nearly jumps out of her skin, grabs it on the 3rd ring. "Yeah?" "It's Roman. I'm outside. Need to talk." "About what?" "Open the door and find out." He hangs up. She checks the security monitor by the front door, sees him standing on the stoop. Same dark suit, same unreadable expression. She unlocks the door. He steps inside immediately, locks it behind him. "You been working?" He's looking past her at the open laptop. "Yeah." "Finding anything useful?" "Depends on your definition of useful. I found patterns, financial flows, shipping schedules, enough to show coordination between Meridian and Harbor Trust Holdings." "Good. Lucien wants to see it. You up for a meeting?" "When?" "Now." She's still wearing the same clothes from yesterday, hair unwashed, probably smells. But Roman isn't asking if she's ready. He's telling her they're leaving. "Give me 5 minutes." She goes upstairs, changes into clean jeans and a sweater from the closet, pulls her hair back, brushes her teeth, stares at herself in the bathroom mirror. The bruise on her wrist is fading from yellow-green to pale brown. Another week and it'll be gone completely. Physical evidence erased. But she has photos. Took them months ago. Stored them in that hidden email account. Documentation of every mark he left. Downstairs, Roman is waiting by the door. Ready? As I'll ever be. They take his Audi. Drive back to the warehouse in the Harbor District. Same route, same silence. Roman doesn't do small talk. Doesn't do any talk unless absolutely necessary. She appreciates that. Words feel like effort right now. Inside the warehouse, Lucien is on the phone, pacing near the windows, speaking rapid Italian to someone. He sees them enter, holds up one finger, wraps up the conversation with what sounds like either a threat or a promise. She can't tell which, and hangs up. Tova, good. Come sit. She does. Roman disappears again. Always disappearing, like a ghost with excellent taste in suits. Lucien pulls up a chair across from her, closer than last time. Not invasive, but present. Roman says you've been working. Yeah. Show me. She opens the laptop, walks him through the spreadsheet, points out the patterns. The container arrivals matched to deposits, the shell company structures. The flow of money from overseas accounts, through Meridian, through Harbor Trust, through Locke's campaign fund. He listens without interrupting, occasionally nods. When she finishes, he leans back, fingers steepled under his chin. This is good work, he says. Better than good. This is exactly the kind of documentation we need. Clean, clear, traceable. There's more. She hesitates. The most recent deposit was 6 days ago, which means there are people in those buildings right now, being held, waiting for transport or sale or whatever the hell comes next. His expression doesn't change. I know. You know? I've had surveillance on those properties since you first showed me the documents. 3 buildings, all active. Best estimate is between 15 and 20 individuals currently housed across the 3 locations. And you're just watching? What would you have me do? Storm the buildings? Free everyone? Alert Merritt and Locke that we're onto them? Blow the entire operation before we have enough evidence to bury them permanently? He's not angry, just matter of fact. Those people are leverage. Once we move, once we expose everything, they're evidence. They're witnesses. They're the proof that destroys any deniability Merritt and Locke try to hide behind. They're human beings. Yes, they are. And they're in hell right now. And moving too soon means more people end up in that same hell because we didn't finish the job properly. He meets her eyes. I know how that sounds. I know what you're thinking, that I'm no better than them. But I'm trying to end this, not just save 20 people. End the whole operation, permanent, so it doesn't just relocate and start up somewhere else with different names. She wants to argue, wants to tell him he's wrong, that saving the people in those buildings now matters more than building an airtight case. But she knows he's right, knows that going in without the full picture just gives Merritt and Locke time to cover their tracks, time to disappear evidence, time to bury everything deeper. How long, she asks, until we move? 6 weeks? Maybe 8? We need more than financial records. We need testimony. We need cooperation from federal investigators. We need to ensure that when this breaks, it breaks everywhere at once. No warning, no time to run. 8 weeks those people are in there. Yes. That's on me too, isn't it? Because they're using my buildings. No, that's on Merritt, on Locke, on everyone who built this operation. You didn't put them there. You didn't know. You were a victim too. I signed the papers. Under duress, with forged documents, with threats. That's not consent. That's coercion. She knows he's right, knows that legally, morally, she's not responsible. But guilt doesn't care about logic. Guilt just sits in her chest like concrete. There's something else, Lucien says, about the doctor. Raymond Holt. She looks up. You found something. My investigators pulled the accident report. Single vehicle collision on I-95 southbound. Car left the road at high speed, hit a concrete barrier. Holt was killed instantly. No skid marks, no evidence of braking. Toxicology came back clean. No alcohol, no drugs, no medical episode, just a man driving 70 miles an hour who apparently forgot how to steer. That's not an accident. No, it's not. But proving it's murder is different. The car was totaled. No way to examine it for tampering. No witnesses, no surveillance footage from that stretch of highway. Just a dead psychiatrist who happened to sign forged evaluations for your husband's wife a week before he died. Merritt killed him. Probably, but probably doesn't hold up in court. We need evidence, something that ties Merritt directly to Holt's death. A witness, a money trail, communication records, something. What about Holt's files, patient records? Destroyed. His practice was inside Johns Hopkins. After he died, his partner archived everything according to protocol. Sealed records, HIPAA protections. Even with a warrant, it'll take months to access them. And there's no guarantee your forged evaluations were kept in official files. Merritt's too smart for that. He would have had Holt create them off book. Tova stands, walks to the windows, looks out at the harbor. Gray water, gray sky, gray buildings. Everything in Baltimore feels gray lately. So we can't prove the murder. Not yet, but we keep digging. Someone knows something. Someone always does. Holt had a wife, kids, friends, colleagues. Someone noticed something off in the weeks before he died. We just have to find them. She turns around. What about Merritt? Has he reported me missing? Yes. Filed a report 3 days ago. Told police you've been acting erratic. Skipping work. Not coming home. Said he's worried about your mental health. Provided them with copies of psychiatric evaluations showing concerning behavior. The forged ones. Of course. He's building the narrative. Unstable wife, loving husband, tragic situation. When you surface, when we bring you back, he'll have already poisoned the well, made you look unreliable, made himself look like the victim. Can we use that? The fact that he filed a false report? Maybe. Depends on how we play it. Right now he doesn't know we have the original documents, doesn't know you copied everything. As far as he's concerned, you just ran, scared, confused, maybe planning to hurt yourself. He's playing concerned husband because he thinks that's still a viable role. What happens when he realizes it's not? Lucien's expression hardens. Then he gets dangerous. Right now he's worried, confused, trying to maintain control. But when he figures out you're not just hiding, when he realizes you're building a case, then he'll start eliminating evidence, eliminating witnesses, eliminating anyone who can connect him to the operation. Including me, especially you, which is why you stay here. Stay hidden. Let Roman handle security. Let me handle the investigation. You focus on the financial records, on building the paper trail. That's what you're good at. That's how you hurt him. She nods, knows he's right, but staying hidden feels like surrender. Feels like she's still letting Merritt control her life even from a distance. I want to see them, she says suddenly. See who? The buildings. My grandmother's properties. I want to see what he's done to them. That's not safe. I don't care. Tova, I need to see it. Need to see what I'm fighting for, what I'm responsible for. I can't just look at spreadsheets and pretend those are numbers instead of people. Lucien studies her, silent, weighing something. Finally, he nods. Tonight, after dark. Surveillance only. You stay in the car, you don't approach, you don't engage, you just look. Understand? Yes. Roman drives. I'm with you. We go in, we look, we leave. 30 minutes maximum. Okay. And Tova? He's standing now, close enough that she can smell his cologne, something expensive and subtle. If Merritt or any of his people are there, if there's any sign of increased security or unexpected activity, we abort. No arguments, no heroics. We leave. Clear? Clear. They leave at 11 p.m. Romain driving. Lucien in the front passenger seat, Tova in the back. Different car this time. Black SUV with tinted windows, completely anonymous. Could be anyone. The first building is on Pratt Street. 4-story brick warehouse converted to look like upscale loft apartments. Her grandmother bought it in the 80s, back when the harbor was industrial, before the revitalization, before everything got polished and expensive and fake. Roman parks half a block away. Cuts the engine. They sit in darkness, watching. The building looks normal, well-maintained, lights on in a few windows. Ground floor has a seafood distributor's sign, Harbor Fresh Imports. Business hours listed. Completely legitimate. That's the front operation, Lucien says quietly. Actual seafood business. real employees, real shipments, provides cover for everything else. How many people inside? Tova's voice sounds strange to her own ears. Right now? Best guess is 6. Upper floors. The distributor closes at 7. After that, the only people in the building are the ones being held. Guards? 2, maybe 3. Rotate shifts. They're not there to keep people in. They're there to keep people out. She stares at the building, tries to imagine what's happening behind those windows. 6 people. Maybe women. Maybe children. Waiting. Hoping. Probably praying, even though she's not supposed to think about that. My grandmother would burn this place down if she knew, Tova says. Then let's burn it down for her. Metaphorically, with evidence and federal warrants instead of gasoline. They watch for 15 minutes. A car pulls up, parks near the service entrance. 2 men get out, one heavyset, one thin. They smoke cigarettes on the loading dock. Talk about something. Laugh. One of them checks his phone. They finish their cigarettes and go inside. Guard change, Roman says. Happens every 12 hours, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. You've been watching that long? Since you showed us the documents. Yeah. They drive to the second building, Federal Hill. Smaller property, converted row house. Same setup. Ground floor looks legitimate. Some kind of import office. Upper floor's dark. 4 people here, Lucien says. Different operation. This one's more temporary. Transit point. People come in through the harbor, get moved here for processing, then transferred inland within 48 hours. Processing? Documentation, identity papers, work visas, all forged. They get photographed, fingerprinted, given new names, then shipped out to wherever they've been sold to. Sold. The word sits in her stomach like poison. Where do they go? Domestic service. Mostly. Wealthy families who want cheap labor and don't ask questions. Some go to farms, some to factories, some to worse places. Depends on who's buying. The building looks innocent, quaint even. Brick facade, window boxes. Could be anyone's home. I used to play near here when I was a kid, Tova says. My grandmother would take me to the park 2 blocks over. We'd get ice cream, walk around. This neighborhood was safe back then. It still looks safe. That's the point. Hide things in plain sight. Make them look normal. Make them look boring. No one investigates boring. They watch for another 10 minutes. Nothing happens. No movement. No cars. Just a quiet street and a quiet neighborhood hiding whores behind ordinary windows. The third building is back near the harbor. Larger than the others. 6 stories. Actually is apartment buildings. Mixed residential and commercial. The commercial space on the ground floor is a shipping logistics office. Harbor Trust Holdings. Councilman Locke's company. This is the hub, Lucien says. Coordination center. Financial processing. Where Merritt meets with Locke. Where they plan operations. Upper floors have actual tenants, normal people, paying rent, living their lives. No idea what's happening 3 floors below them. How many people being held? Here? 8. Basement level. Converted storage space, soundproofed, climate-controlled. Nobody hears anything, nobody sees anything. Tova feels sick. Actually sick. She cracks the window. Cold November air rushes in. You okay? Lucien turns in his seat to look at her. No, I'm not okay. I'm looking at my grandmother's buildings being used as prisons. I'm looking at a trafficking operation running through my inheritance. I'm realizing that every signature I gave Merritt, every paper I signed without reading, every time I trusted him, her voice breaks. Every time I was stupid enough to believe him, I was helping this happen. You weren't helping. You were being manipulated. What's the difference? Intent? Control? Agency. You didn't choose this. He chose it. He used you. There's a difference. Tell that to the people in those buildings. Lucien doesn't respond. What can he say? She's right. He knows she's right. Roman starts the engine. We should go. Been here too long. They drive back to the safe house in silence. Tova stares out the window, watching Baltimore pass. Normal city? Normal streets? Normal people going about their normal lives while beneath the surface, networks like this operate. Hidden, efficient, profitable. At the safe house, Roman walks her to the door. You need anything? No. You sure? I'm sure. Lucien will call tomorrow. Update you on the investigation. You just keep working the numbers. That's what matters right now. She nods, goes inside, locks the door, stands in the dark hallway listening to her own breathing. Those buildings, her buildings, being used like that. She goes upstairs, doesn't bother turning on lights, sits on the bed in darkness, takes out the encrypted phone Roman gave her, the one that only calls him or Lucien, stares at it. She could call Merritt. Her old phone is in a drawer downstairs, dead now, uncharged. But she could power it up, send a message, ask what the hell he's done with her grandmother's properties, confront him, demand answers. But that would be stupid, would blow everything, would put those people in immediate danger because Merritt would panic and move them, or worse. So she sits and waits, and hates that waiting is the only option. The next morning, Lucien calls at 7 a.m. She's already awake, hasn't really slept, just lay in bed cycling through rage and guilt and helplessness until the sun came up. I'm sending Roman to pick you up, he says without preamble. We got something big. What? Not on the phone. Roman's 10 minutes out. He hangs up. She gets dressed, pulls on the same jeans, same sweater, becoming her uniform, her armor. By the time Roman knocks, she's already at the door, in the car. What's going on? Lucien will explain. Can you at least tell me if it's good or bad? Good, I think. Maybe? Hard to say. Helpful. At the warehouse, Lucien is pacing, agitated. That's new. He's usually controlled, measured. Now he's moving like a caged animal. We found a witness, he says the second she walks in. A witness to what? Holt's murder, or close enough. Someone who saw something the night before he died. Tova's pulse jumps. Who? Holt's wife, Emily. My investigator finally got her to talk. Took some convincing. She's terrified, doesn't want to get involved, doesn't want to testify, but she saw something. What did she see? The night before Holt died, a man came to their house, late, around 11 p.m. Emily was upstairs, heard voices, heard her husband arguing with someone, heard the word falsify used multiple times, heard Holt say he wouldn't do it anymore, heard the other man say something about consequences. Did she see him? The other man? No, she stayed upstairs. Didn't want to get involved in her husband's work. But she heard him, and the next day, Holt died. That's not enough. That doesn't prove anything. Not by itself, but get this. After Holt died, Emily found something, hidden in his office at home. Flash drive. She didn't know what was on it, didn't look, just kept it. Figured it was patient files or research or something medical. My investigator convinced her to let us examine it. And it's everything. Lucien pulls up his laptop, opens a folder. Copies of the forged psychiatric evaluations he created for you. Dated, time-stamped, including notes in his own handwriting expressing doubts, saying he felt coerced, saying someone was pressuring him. He doesn't name Merritt explicitly, but he references the husband multiple times. Tova's breath catches. That's evidence. It's evidence that Holt created forged documents under duress. Combined with Emily's testimony about the argument, combined with the convenient car accident the next day, it builds a case. Not airtight, but substantial. Enough to question the circumstances of his death. Enough to investigate further. Will Emily testify? That's the problem. She's scared. She has 2 kids. Doesn't want to put them in danger. Doesn't want to become a target. Right now, she's willing to let us examine the flash drive. She's willing to confirm her husband seemed stressed before he died. But getting her to stand up in court and say someone threatened him the night before he crashed his car, that's a different level of commitment. Can you protect her? Yes. But protection means relocation, new identities, uprooting her entire life, her kids' lives. She's a middle school teacher. Her daughters are in high school. Friends, stability. Asking her to give that up to testify against a councilman and a network powerful enough to kill her husband, that's asking a lot. Tova sits down, processes this. What do you need from me? I need you to talk to her. Me? Why? Because you're the other victim. You're the one Holt's forged evaluations were targeting. You're the one who lost everything. She needs to see that, needs to understand what's at stake. Right now, this is abstract to her. Numbers and documents and dead husband. But you're real. You're standing in front of her saying this network destroyed your life. That might be enough to convince her. Or it might terrify her more. Maybe. But it's worth trying. She's meeting me here this afternoon. 2 p.m. You willing to talk to her? Is she? Is she willing to sit across from a widow and ask her to risk her children's safety to help build a case against the man who killed her husband? That feels like asking too much. Feels cruel. But then she thinks about the 6 people in her grandmother's buildings, the 4 in Federal Hill, the 8 in the basement near the harbor, 18 people, minimum. And those are just the ones currently being held. How many came before? How many will come after if this operation isn't stopped? Yes, she says. I'll talk to her. Emily Holt arrives at 2:15, nervous, thin, younger than Tova expected, early 40s maybe, but looking older. Grief does that. Ages people. She's wearing a professional blouse and slacks like she came straight from teaching, hair pulled back, minimal makeup, the kind of woman who's trying very hard to hold everything together and mostly succeeding. Roman shows her in, offers coffee. She declines, sits on the edge of the couch like she might bolt at any moment. Lucian makes introductions. Emily, this is Tova Calloway. Tova? Emily Holt. They shake hands. Emily's grip is surprisingly strong. Thank you for coming, Tova says. I'm not sure why I'm here. Emily looks at Lucien. You said you needed me to meet someone involved in Raymond's case. Tova is the person your husband created forged psychiatric evaluations for. She's the reason your husband was murdered. Emily stiffens. I thought you said it was an accident. It was made to look like an accident, but we both know it wasn't. Emily looks at Tova, really looks at her. You're the one Raymond was writing reports about, the mentally unstable wife. I'm not mentally unstable. Those evaluations were fake, forged, created by my husband to build a legal framework for having me institutionalized. Why would he do that? To steal my inheritance, $30 million in properties. He needed me declared incompetent so he could take control. Emily processes this, and Raymond helped him. Under duress, your husband didn't want to do it. He kept notes, kept records, kept evidence that he was being coerced. That's why he was killed, because he was going to stop, going to report what was happening. You don't know that. I know he argued with someone the night before he died. I know he refused to continue creating forged documents. I know he crashed his car less than 24 hours later. That's not coincidence. Emily stands, walks to the window, stares out at the harbor. Raymond was a good man, a good doctor. He cared about his patients, cared about ethics. If someone made him do something wrong, if someone forced him, he would have been devastated. He was trying to fix it, Tova says. He kept the flash drive, kept the evidence. That's not the action of someone complicit. That's someone planning to expose what was happening. And they killed him for it. Yes, Emily turns around, tears streaming down her face now, not bothering to hide them. He was acting strange that last week. Couldn't sleep. Kept checking the locks on the doors. Kept looking over his shoulder. I asked what was wrong. He said work stress. Said he was dealing with a difficult situation. I didn't push. I should have pushed. Should have made him tell me. You couldn't have known, but I could have helped. Could have protected him. Instead, Her voice breaks. Instead, I just let him carry it alone. Lucian steps forward. Emily, we can't change what happened, but we can make sure it means something. We can use what Raymond left behind to stop the people who killed him. Stop them from doing this to anyone else. But we need your help. We need you to testify about what you heard that night, about the argument, about Raymond's state of mind before he died. They'll come after me, after my daughters. We'll protect you. Full witness protection. New identities, new location, everything. That's not protection, that's exile. That's taking my daughters away from everything they know, away from their school, their friends, their lives. It's keeping them alive. Emily shakes her head. I can't do that to them. Losing their father was bad enough. I can't take everything else away too. Then they win, Tova says. Harsh, blunt. The people who killed your husband, the people running trafficking operations through my buildings. They win. They keep operating, keep destroying lives, keep killing anyone who threatens to expose them. And your husband's death means nothing. Emily flinches. That's not fair. None of this is fair. It wasn't fair that your husband got coerced into creating fake documents. It wasn't fair that I got beaten and manipulated and robbed. It wasn't fair that 18 people are locked in buildings right now waiting to be sold. Nothing about any of this is fair. But we can stop it. We can burn the whole operation down. We just need your help. Why should I risk my children for this? Because someone has to. Because if people like us don't stand up and fight back, then people like them keep winning, keep hurting people, keep destroying families. Tova's voice is shaking now, raw. I know what I'm asking. I know it's too much, but I'm asking anyway, because I don't have anyone else. Because your husband was trying to do the right thing and died for it. Because his death should matter. Silence. Emily sits back down, puts her face in her hands, sobs quietly. Lucien and Tova exchange glances. Wait. Finally, Emily looks up, red-eyed, wrecked. What exactly would I have to testify to? The argument you heard, the timing, Raymond's state of mind, the fact that he expressed fears about his safety, combined with the flash drive contents, that's enough to establish a pattern of coercion and fear. And you really think you can protect my daughters? Yes. I have resources, connections. I can make you disappear completely. New names, new location, new life. They'll never find you. What about my mother, my sister? I'm supposed to just leave them? You can contact them, carefully, through secure channels, but no visits, no direct communication, not until this is over. Emily looks at Tova. You really think this will stop them? I think it's the only chance we have. More silence. Emily stands again, paces, thinking, weighing, calculating impossible choices. If I do this, she says finally, I want a guarantee, not about my safety, about theirs, about making sure the people who killed Raymond go to prison, that this actually matters, that I'm not uprooting my entire life for nothing. I can't guarantee outcomes, Lucien says, but I can guarantee effort. I can guarantee that everything we have, every resource, every connection, every piece of evidence goes into destroying this network. Completely, permanently. That's not the same thing. No, it's not. But it's the best I can offer. Emily looks at Tova again. Long look, searching for something. Finally, she nods. Okay, I'll testify, but if anything happens to my daughters, if they get hurt because of this, I'll spend the rest of my life making sure you regret it. Fair enough, Lucien says. Emily leaves 20 minutes later. Roman drives her home. She'll pack what she needs. Tonight they'll move her and her daughters to a secure location, start the process of disappearing. After she's gone, Tova slumps on the couch, exhausted. That conversation took everything she had. You did good, Lucien says. I feel like shit. You should. You just asked a widow to uproot her entire life. That's not supposed to feel good. Will it be enough, her testimony, combined with everything else? Yes, it should be. We're building a case brick by brick, financial records, shipping manifests, witness testimony, forged documents, pattern of coercion, dead doctor. Once we have all the pieces assembled, we move, fast, coordinated, hit them from every direction at once. When? 6 weeks. Maybe less now that we have Emily. Depends how fast federal investigators can move once we hand them everything. 6 weeks. 42 days. Feels like forever. Feels like no time at all. What do I do until then? Keep working the numbers, keep building the financial case, and stay hidden. Merritt's getting desperate. Filed another missing persons report, this time claiming you might be a danger to yourself. Trying to escalate it. Get more police attention, more search resources. He thinks I'm dead? He thinks you might be. Or he's hoping. Dead wife is easier to deal with than missing wife. Dead wife can't testify. The words hit like ice water. He's going to try to kill me. He's going to try. That's why you stay here. Why Roman is always 10 minutes away. Why we don't take unnecessary risks. She nods, knows he's right. But hiding feels wrong, feels passive, feels like she's still letting Merritt control her choices. I want to do more, she says. Want to help actively, not just sit here analyzing spreadsheets. You are helping. The spreadsheets matter. The financial evidence matters. That's your weapon. That's how you hurt him. It doesn't feel like enough. It's going to have to be. That night she dreams about her grandmother. Not the sick version. Not the woman wasted by cancer, barely able to speak, hooked to machines that beeped and clicked and breathed for her. The healthy version. The woman who walked the harbor with Tova on Sunday afternoons, who pointed to buildings and said, "Someday these will be yours." In the dream, her grandmother is standing outside the Federal Hill property, the row house, the one processing 4 people right now. She's staring at it with disgust. "You let this happen," she says. "I didn't know," Tova replies. "I didn't know what he was doing. You should have known. Should have asked questions. Should have read the papers before signing them. I was scared. He hurt me. He controlled everything. And now he's hurting others, using my buildings to do it. My legacy turned into this." Her grandmother gestures at the building. "This is your inheritance, Tova. Prisons and pain. Is this what you wanted?" "No, I'm stopping it. I'm fighting back." "Are you? Or are you hiding in a safe house while other people do the work?" "That's not fair." "Fair?" Her grandmother laughs, bitter, harsh. "Nothing about this is fair, but fair doesn't matter. Results matter. Action matters." "What are you actually doing?" Tova wakes up gasping, sweating, sheets tangled around her legs. The room is dark, cold. She checks her phone. 3:17 a.m. She gets up, goes downstairs, makes coffee, opens the laptop. Financial records. That's what Lucian said matters. That's her weapon. So she uses it. She spends the next 4 hours building something new, not just a spreadsheet tracking deposits and container arrivals. A network map. Visual representation showing every connection, every company, every account, every person involved. Lines connecting Merit to Locke, Locke to Harbor Trust Holdings, Harbor Trust to Meridian, Meridian to the overseas accounts, the overseas accounts to known trafficking organizations in Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia. By 7 a.m., she has something Lucian can use, something federal investigators can use. A roadmap showing exactly how the entire operation works, who profits, who participates, who knows. She sends it to the encrypted email address Lucien gave her. Subject line, full network structure. 30 minutes later, her phone rings. "Did you sleep at all?" Lucien asks. "No." "This is incredible. This is exactly what we needed. Where did you even find some of this information?" Cross-referenced the shipping manifests with international customs databases. Matched arrival dates to known trafficking routes. Found patterns. Followed the money backward from Locke's accounts to the source. It's all there. Every connection. Every participant. This changes the timeline. This moves everything up. If we can hand this to federal investigators, they can move in weeks instead of months. How many weeks? 3. Maybe 4. I need to make some calls, set up meetings. But Tova, this is it. This is the evidence that breaks everything open. She should feel relieved, should feel proud. She just feels tired. "Good," she says. "Then let's finish it." She hangs up, sits in the kitchen drinking cold coffee, thinks about the dream, about her grandmother's accusation, about whether hiding and building cases and waiting for federal investigators is actually fighting back or just a different kind of surrender. Outside, Baltimore wakes up, traffic builds, people head to work. Normal Tuesday in a normal city. But inside her grandmother's buildings, 18 people are waiting, and Tova's inheritance is still being used as a weapon. The question is, how long until she stops letting that happen? 2 days later, everything changes. Lucien calls at midnight. She's awake. Always awake lately. Sleep feels like wasted time. "Something's wrong," he says. No preamble, just facts. The Federal Hill property, the surveillance team isn't responding. What does that mean? It means they're supposed to check in every 2 hours. They haven't checked in for 4 hours. Either their equipment failed or something happened to them. Roman and I are heading there now. Stay put, lock the doors, don't open them for anyone. I'm coming with you. No. Those are my buildings. My responsibility. I'm coming. Tova, you can argue or you can pick me up. Either way I'm going, but if you don't pick me up, I'm calling a cab. And a cab showing up at this safe house probably isn't great for operational security. Silence. Then, God damn it. Fine. Roman's 5 minutes out, but you stay in the car. You don't get out. You don't approach. You just observe. Understood? Understood. 5 minutes later, Roman's there, silent and grim. They drive toward Federal Hill fast, too fast, running red lights, weaving through sparse midnight traffic. Lucien is already there when they arrive, standing near his own vehicle, dark sedan, talking to someone on his phone. He sees them pull up, walks over. Surveillance team is dead, he says flatly. Both of them, shot, execution style, inside their van half a block down. Tova's stomach drops. When? Within the last hour. Bodies are still warm. Whoever did this knew they were there, knew exactly where to find them. The people inside the building, gone. Building's empty. Cleaned out. No evidence, no computers, no files, nothing. Like it was never used for anything except storage. Someone tipped them off. Yes. Someone inside our operation. Someone who knew about the surveillance, knew about the investigation, and told Merritt, you have a leak. I have a traitor. Lucian's voice is cold, controlled, deadly. And when I find them, they're going to wish they'd never been born. But right now, that doesn't matter. What matters is that 4 people who are being held inside that building are gone, either moved or killed. Either way, gone. And somewhere, Merritt is cleaning up loose ends, which means he knows Tova is coming for him, knows she's building a case, knows she's not just hiding, she's fighting back. And now he's eliminating evidence, starting with the people who could testify against him. Tova looks at the empty building, her grandmother's building, the one she played near as a child, now scrubbed clean, sanitized, evidence destroyed. This is my fault, she whispers. No, this is the fault of whoever sold us out. But I pushed for the investigation, pushed to move faster. If you just what? Stayed quiet? Let them keep operating? Those people would still be prisoners, still be suffering. At least now there's a chance someone's looking for them, a chance this investigation exposes the whole network. Or a chance Merritt kills everyone involved and walks away clean. Lucian doesn't respond. Because she's right. They both know she's right. We need to move faster, Tova says. Need to go public now, before he destroys everything. We're not ready. Emily's testimony isn't enough without corroborating evidence. And now our surveillance is compromised. Our investigation is compromised. We don't know who we can trust. So what do we do? Lucien looks at her. Really looks at her. And for the first time since she met him, she sees something that might be doubt. We adapt, he says finally. We change strategies. We stop playing defense and start playing offense. But first we find the leak, find who sold us out. Because until we do, everything we build just gets torn down again. Sirens in the distance, getting closer. Police, Roman says. Someone called it in, the bodies. Time to go, Lucian says. They leave. 3 vehicles pulling away from the scene within seconds of each other, disappearing into Baltimore's midnight streets before the police arrive. In the back of Roman's Audi, Tova stares at her reflection in the window. Somewhere, 4 people who were prisoners are now either dead or relocated. Somewhere, Merritt is erasing evidence. Somewhere, a traitor is feeding him information. And Tova is sitting in a car watching everything collapse. Her grandmother was right. Hiding isn't fighting, and if she wants to stop Merritt, she's going to have to stop hiding. The question is, what comes next? The safe house feels like a cage now. Tova paces the living room at 3 a.m, unable to sit still, unable to think straight. Roman is outside in his car. Lucien left an hour ago to track down the leak. Said he had suspicions, said he'd handle it, told her to stay put. She's done staying put. 4 people disappeared from that building. 4 people she could have saved if she'd moved faster, if she'd pushed harder, if she'd done something other than hide behind spreadsheets and encrypted laptops. Her phone buzzes. Lucian. We found him, he says. Voice flat. Dead. The leak. Who? One of my investigators. Guy named Torres. Been on my payroll for 6 years. Merritt got to him 3 weeks ago. Offered him $200,000 to feed information. Torres took it. Where is he now? Somewhere he can't hurt anyone anymore. But the damage is done. Torres told Merritt about the surveillance, about Emily Holt, about the network map you built, about everything. Tova's blood goes cold. Emily, is she safe for now? We moved her and her daughters yesterday. Different location than planned. Torres didn't know the new address, but Merritt knows she exists, knows she's willing to testify. He'll be looking for her. What about the other buildings? The ones still holding people? Emptied, all of them, sometime in the last 8 hours. My remaining surveillance teams confirmed it. Every property connected to Meridian Coastal is clean now, scrubbed, no evidence left behind. So we have nothing. We have financial records. We have Emily's testimony about her husband. We have the forged psychiatric evaluations. It's not nothing, but it's not enough. Not without physical evidence. Not without witnesses who were actually held in those buildings. Tova sits down hard on the couch. He's going to walk. After everything. After all of this. Merritt's going to walk. Not if we can find where he moved those people. Not if we can intercept them before they're distributed or killed. How are we supposed to do that? He knows we're watching. Knows we have investigators. He'll be careful. He'll use people we don't know. Routes we can't track. Lucian is silent for a moment. Then, there might be one way. But you're not going to like it. Tell me. You go back. Back where? To Merritt. To your apartment. You show up pretending you had some kind of breakdown. Pretending you were confused. Scared. You play the role he's been building for you. The unstable wife, the mentally ill woman who ran away and now realizes she needs help. You get close to him again. You find out where he moved those people. You get evidence we can use. You want me to go back to him. I want you to pretend to go back to him. Wear a wire. Record everything. Get him to talk. Get him to slip up. Men like Merritt, when they think they've won, when they think their wife is broken and compliant, they get arrogant. They brag. They explain. You could get a confession on tape. And if he figures out I'm wearing a wire, then Roman and I are 2 minutes away and we pull you out immediately. You mean if I'm not already dead? Lucian doesn't deny it. It's a risk. I know that. I wouldn't ask if I had any other options, but we're out of time. Merritt is moving fast, cleaning up, eliminating evidence. In another week, there won't be anything left to find, no people to save, no witnesses to protect, just a trafficking network that successfully disappeared and relocated before we could stop it. Tova closes her eyes, tries to imagine walking back into that apartment, seeing Merritt's face, letting him touch her, pretending to be broken while recording his every word. The thought makes her want to vomit. I'll do it, she says. You're sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay. We'll prep you tomorrow. Get you a wire. Rehearse what to say, how to act. This has to be perfect. One wrong word and he'll know. I know. Tova. His voice softens slightly. Just slightly. You don't have to do this. We can find another way. There is no other way. We both know that. This is it. This is the only chance we have. Then we make it count. He hangs up. Tova sits in the dark, thinking about tomorrow, about walking into that apartment, about seeing Merritt again, about pretending the last 2 weeks never happened, about becoming the broken woman he always wanted her to be. Morning comes too fast. Roman picks her up at 9, takes her to a different location this time. Not the warehouse, some kind of office building downtown. They take a service elevator to the 8th floor. Empty office space, windows overlooking the harbor. Lucienne is there with 2 other people. A woman in her 50s with sharp eyes and sharper suit. A younger man with equipment cases spread across a folding table. This is Agent Morrison, Lucienne says, gesturing to the woman. FBI. She's been consulting on the case, helping coordinate the federal investigation. And that's Danny. He handles technical surveillance. Morrison extends a hand. Tova shakes it. The agent's grip is firm, assessing. I've reviewed your evidence, Morrison says. Financial records, shipping manifests, network map. It's solid work. But without corroborating testimony from actual victims or physical evidence from the properties, it's circumstantial. Defense attorneys would tear it apart. Claim the money came from legitimate business. Claim the shipping discrepancies were errors. Claim your husband was just a property manager doing his job. So you need a confession. I need something concrete, either a recording of your husband admitting to trafficking or evidence showing current location of victims. Preferably both. Danny waves Tova over to the table. Let's get you fitted. The wire is smaller than she expected, barely the size of a quarter. He tapes it between her breasts, right over her sternum, runs a thin cable down to a transmitter pack that fits against the small of her back. Everything hidden beneath her clothes. Invisible. It's voice activated, Danny explains. Transmits to a receiver we'll have in a van outside your building. Range is about 200 yards. Battery lasts 8 hours. If you need to signal distress, press the transmitter pack twice quickly. That sends an alert, and we come in immediately. What if he searches me, pats me down? Then you're compromised. Hit the distress signal, and we extract you. But if you play the broken wife returning home, if you sell the performance, he shouldn't have reason to search you. He'll be too busy feeling victorious. Morrison hands her a folder. This is your story. Memorize it. You had a breakdown, been sleeping in your car, scared, confused, realized you need help, realized running was a mistake. You're sorry. You want to come home. You'll sign whatever papers he wants. You'll take whatever medications he prescribes. You're done fighting. You just want everything to stop. Tova reads the script. It's humiliating. Every word designed to make her sound weak, unstable, exactly what Merritt has been claiming. I can't say this, she says. Can't play this role. Yes, you can, Lucian says, because you've been playing it for 3 years. You know how to be what he wants. You know what words make him feel powerful. You use those words. You give him exactly what he thinks he's been waiting for. And when he asks where I've been, what I've been doing. Vague answers. You don't remember clearly. You were confused, scared, stayed at motels, slept in parking lots. Nowhere specific. Nothing he can verify or disprove. He won't believe me. He'll want to believe you. That's the difference. He's been looking for you for 2 weeks, filed reports, made himself look like the concerned husband. If you show up broken and apologetic, it confirms everything he's been saying, validates his narrative. He'll want that validation more than he'll want to question it. Morrison checks her watch. We need to move. Every hour we wait is an hour Merritt has to relocate those people further out of reach. Tova nods, tries to steady her breathing. This is happening, actually happening. Roman drives her to within a block of the apartment, parks, turns around in his seat. You don't have to do this, he says. First words he's spoken all morning. Everyone keeps saying that. Because it's true. There are other ways. Name one. He can't. They both know he can't. When you're ready, he says. She gets out of the car. Walks the block to her apartment building. Every step feels like wading through concrete. Her heart is hammering so hard she's worried the wire will pick up nothing but her pulse. The building looks the same. Same cracked sidewalk. Same dying plants in the lobby. Same elevator that squeals on the way up to the 3rd floor. She stands outside the apartment door. Apartment 3B. Her home for 3 years. Her prison. She knocks. Footsteps inside. The door opens. Merritt stands there. He's lost weight, looks exhausted, hair unwashed, wearing the same shirt he was wearing 2 weeks ago when she left. For a second, just a second, he looks genuinely shocked. Tova? Hi. Her voice cracks perfectly. Not on purpose. Genuine fear does that. Can I come in? He steps aside. She walks in. The apartment smells stale. Dishes piled in the sink, empty takeout containers on the coffee table. He's been living like a bachelor, or like someone whose life fell apart. Where the hell have you been? He's not yelling, not yet, just confused, stunned. I don't know. I remember some of it. Motels, parking lots. I was scared. I was confused. I thought you were trying to hurt me. Hurt you? Jesus, Tova. I've been out of my mind. I filed police reports. I called hospitals. I thought you were dead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wasn't thinking straight. I panicked. He's studying her, looking for signs of deception, looking for anything that seems off. She lets tears fall. Not hard to do. The fear is real. The exhaustion is real. The horror of being back here is real. She just redirects it, uses it. I need help, she whispers. I know that now. I need the help you've been trying to give me, the doctors, the treatment. I'll sign whatever papers you want. I'll do whatever you think is best. I can't do this anymore. Can't keep running. Can't keep being so scared all the time. Something shifts in his expression. The suspicion softens. Not much, but enough. You're really sorry, he says. Not a question. A statement he wants confirmed. I'm really sorry. He pulls her into a hug. She forces herself not to flinch, forces herself to lean into it, to let him hold her. His cologne smells the same. His grip feels the same. Like ownership pretending to be affection. It's okay, he murmurs into her hair. You're home now. We'll fix this. We'll get you the help you need. She nods against his chest. Hopes the wire is picking all this up. Hopes Roman and Morrison are hearing every word. Merritt pulls back, looks at her face, wipes away her tears with his thumb. You look terrible. When's the last time you ate? I don't remember. Sit down. I'll make you something. Then we need to talk, really talk, about what happens next. She sits on the couch, the same couch where she used to hide from him, where she'd pretend to sleep so he wouldn't want sex, where she'd count the stains in the ceiling while he talked about his day and she planned escape routes she'd never use. Now she's using one. Merritt makes eggs, overcooked again, brings them to her with toast. She eats mechanically, barely tastes anything. He sits across from her in the armchair, watching, calculating. So where were you really? He asks. I told you, motels, my car. I don't remember all of it clearly. You were gone 2 weeks. That's a long time to not remember. I know. I think maybe I was having some kind of episode, like the doctor said, like the evaluations showed. His eyes narrow slightly. You read the evaluations? Careful, very careful. You showed them to me, remember? Before I left. You said I needed to see them, needed to understand how sick I was. He didn't show her. She found them by copying documents, but he doesn't remember what he did or didn't show her 2 weeks ago. Too much has happened, too much chaos. Right, he says slowly. I remember. I'm sick, Merritt. I know that now. I need help, real help, whatever treatment you and the doctors think is best. That might mean inpatient care? Long term. Are you ready for that? If that's what it takes? He leans forward, elbows on his knees. I want to believe you. I really do. But you have to understand how this looks. You disappear for 2 weeks. No contact. No explanation. Then suddenly you show up saying you'll do whatever I want. That's convenient. Really convenient. I'm not lying. Then prove it. Tell me where you've been. Exactly. Day by day. She can't. The story Morrison gave her is deliberately vague because specific lies are easy to disprove, but Merritt is pushing, testing, looking for cracks. I told you, I don't remember everything clearly. Bullshit. He stands, starts pacing. You remember. You're just not telling me. Where were you, Tova? Who were you with? Nobody. I was alone. Alone for 2 weeks. Living in your car. And nobody saw you. Nobody called the police about a woman sleeping in parking lots? Nobody tried to help you? I moved around, different places. I kept to myself. What places? What? Places. Each word bitten off, angry now. Annapolis, maybe. Or, I think I went to Delaware for a few days. I'm not sure. He stops pacing, stares at her. You think you went to Delaware. I wasn't keeping track. You weren't keeping track. He laughs. Harsh. Bitter. You know what I think? I think you're lying. I think someone got to you. Someone convinced you to run, to hide, to build some kind of case against me. Her pulse spikes. The wire is recording this. All of it. Him accusing her of exactly what she's doing. Nobody got to me, she says. I was alone. I was scared, that's all. Then you won't mind if I search you. The world stops. What? You heard me? You say you were alone. You say nobody helped you. Prove it. Let me search you. Check your phone. Check your clothes. Make sure you're not recording this conversation. Why would I be recording? Because that's what someone would do if they were trying to trap me. If they were working with police or feds or whoever the hell you've been talking to. He crosses the room, grabs her arm, the same wrist, the one that's finally healed. Stand up. She stands. Has no choice. He starts patting her down. Sides, arms, legs, professional, methodical. Like he's done this before. His hand moves to her back, finds the transmitter pack. He goes very still. What's this? I don't know what... He yanks her shirt up, sees the wire taped to her skin, the cable, the transmitter. For 3 seconds, nobody moves. Then he rips the wire off. She gasps. The tape tears skin. He throws the equipment across the room. It shatters against the wall. You stupid bitch, he says quietly. You stupid, stupid bitch. Merritt. His hand closes around her throat. She claws at his grip. Can't breathe. Can't scream. The distress signal. She never pressed it. The wire is destroyed. Roman can't hear her. Nobody can hear her. Merritt's face is inches from hers. Who are you working with? Who's helping you? She can't answer. Can't get air. Her vision is starting to gray at the edges. He releases her. She collapses to the floor, gasping. Tell me, he says. Tell me right now, or I swear I will kill you where you sit. Lucian Vane, she chokes out. No point lying now. I went to Lucian Vane. Merritt goes pale. You went to Vane. You went to a crime boss. Are you insane? You were going to have me institutionalized. You stole my grandmother's properties. You're running a trafficking network through her buildings. What choice did I have? You had the choice to be a good wife, to trust me, to sign the papers and let me handle everything. But you couldn't do that. You had to dig, had to question, had to ruin everything. He's pacing again, running hands through his hair, thinking, calculating. How much does Vane know? Everything. The shell companies, the trafficking, Councilman Locke, the forged psychiatric evaluations, Dr. Holt's murder, all of it. Holt's death was an accident. No, it wasn't. You killed him, or had him killed, because he was going to expose you. Merritt stops, looks at her, and slowly, horribly, he smiles. You really think you're clever, think you figured it all out, but you're missing the biggest piece, the piece that makes all of this irrelevant. What piece? Vane isn't helping you out of the goodness of his heart. He's using you, using your properties, using your inheritance, because those buildings, the ones running trafficking operations, Vane owns the network. Not me, not Locke. Vane. The words don't make sense, can't make sense. You're lying. Am I? Who do you think supplied the contacts overseas? Who do you think provided the shipping routes? Who do you think has the connections to move people through a harbor without customs interference? He's enjoying this, enjoying watching her world collapse. I'm middle management. Locke is political cover, but Vane runs the whole operation, always has. And you walked right into his office and handed him every piece of evidence he needed to eliminate his competition and take over completely. No, that's not... He's helping me. He's building a case. He's building an empire, using you as the weapon to take down Locke. Take down me. Remove everyone else involved so he controls the entire network. Merritt crouches down, eye level with her. You think you're the hero in this story, but you're just a useful idiot. A pawn he's been playing from the moment you spilled coffee on him. She's shaking her head. Can't process this. Can't accept it. Emily Holt, the flash drive, the testimony, all things Vane arranged. You think it's coincidence that his investigator found her? That she suddenly had evidence right when you needed it? He's been feeding you exactly what you need to hear, exactly what you need to see, leading you step by step toward destroying his competition while thinking you're getting revenge. You're lying. You're saying this to make me doubt him, to make me come back to you. I'm saying this because it's true. And because in about 10 minutes, the people Vane sent to clean up this mess are going to arrive. They're going to kill me. Kill you. Make it look like a murder-suicide. Devoted husband finally snaps after his mentally ill wife returns. Tragic story. Neat ending. And every piece of evidence you built against me becomes evidence against a dead man who can't defend himself. Tova stands, backs away from him. You're insane. Am I? Then call Vane right now. Ask him. Ask him directly if he's been running the trafficking operation this whole time. See what he says. She pulls out her phone. The encrypted one Roman gave her. Dials Lucian. It rings and rings and rings, voicemail. She tries Roman's number, same thing, no answer. They're not coming, Merritt says. They got what they needed from you. The network map showing all of Locke's connections. Emily Holt's testimony against me. Your financial records documenting everything. Now you're a liability. Evidence to be eliminated. No, that's not... The apartment door explodes inward. 3 men rush in. Not police, not FBI. Professional. Armed. Moving with military precision. Tova recognizes the one in front. Roman. He's pointing a gun at Merritt's head. Down on the floor, Roman orders. Hands behind your head. Merritt complies. Smiling. Still smiling. Roman zip ties his wrists. One of the other men secures the apartment. The third positions himself by the door. You okay? Roman asks Tova. She can't answer, can't speak, just stares at him. The wire got damaged, Roman continues. We heard it cut out. Came in immediately. What happened? He found it, she manages. He knows. He knows everything. That's fine. Doesn't matter now. We have him. Caught him assaulting you on the recording before it cut out. That's enough for an arrest. Enough to get him talking once we have him in custody. Merritt laughs. Actually laughs. You really don't know, do you? Don't know who you're working for. Shut up, Roman says. Ask him, Tova. Ask Roman who really runs the trafficking network. Ask him who supplies the shipping routes. Ask him who pays his salary. Roman's expression doesn't change, doesn't flinch. We're leaving. All of us. Now. They haul Merritt to his feet, start moving toward the door. And Tova sees it. The way Roman moves, the way the other 2 men defer to him, the way nobody's called for backup, for police, for FBI. Roman. Her voice is steady now, cold. Where are we going? Secure location. We need to debrief, figure out next steps. Which secure location? Does it matter? Answer the question. He looks at her, really looks at her, and in his eyes, she sees the truth Merritt was talking about. Yeah, she says softly. That's what I thought. She runs, doesn't think, just moves, sprints for the bedroom, slams the door, locks it, knows it won't hold long, but maybe long enough. The window, fire escape. She yanks it open, climbs out onto rusted metal grating 3 stories above the alley. Behind her, the bedroom door splinters. She doesn't look back, just climbs down. Fast as she can, feet slipping on wet metal, hands gripping railings that cut into her palms. She hits the alley running. Behind her, footsteps on the fire escape. Roman shouting something, orders to the other men. She runs toward the street, toward traffic, toward witnesses, toward anything public where they can't just grab her without causing a scene. A car screeches around the corner, black SUV, headed straight for her. She dodges. Barely. The SUV clips her hip, sends her spinning into a parked car. She tastes blood, feels something crack in her ribs, keeps running. The SUV reverses, comes back for another pass. She cuts through an alley between buildings, too narrow for the vehicle. Hears it skid to a stop behind her, doors opening, men pursuing on foot now. Her lungs are burning, hips screaming. Every breath feels like knives. She emerges onto a busier street. Morning commuters, coffee shops, normal people living normal lives. She stumbles into the first open door she sees, a diner packed with breakfast crowd. Everyone stares at her, bleeding, wild-eyed, looking like exactly what she is, a woman running for her life. Help me, she gasps to the nearest person. Middle-aged man in a business suit. Please, someone call 911. The man pulls out his phone. Roman appears in the diner doorway, calm, collected, smiling pleasantly. There you are, he says, like they're old friends. Like this is normal. You had us worried. Come on, let's get you home. I don't know him, Tova says loudly. To everyone. To witnesses. I don't know this man. He's trying to kidnap me. Someone call the police. Multiple people are filming now, phones out, recording. Roman sees the cameras, calculates, backs away slowly. My mistake. Wrong person. He leaves. But Tova knows he's not leaving. He's repositioning, waiting outside. They can't grab her in front of witnesses, but the second she's alone, the second she steps outside, they'll take her. The man in the business suit is talking to 911, giving the address, describing the situation. Police are coming, he tells her. You're safe. Just stay inside. Safe. What a joke. She's not safe. Hasn't been safe since the night she spilled coffee on Lucy. Vain and thought he was offering rescue. Merritt was right. She's not the hero. She's the pawn. And now both sides want her dead. The police arrive 12 minutes later. 2 uniforms. Young, bored-looking until they see the blood streak down Tova's face and the way she's holding her ribs like they might crack open if she breathes wrong. Ma'am, are you injured? The taller one, name tag reads Phillips, approaches carefully, like she's something volatile. Someone tried to kidnap me. Multiple men. One of them is still outside, black SUV. Maryland plates, but I didn't see the numbers. Phillips exchanges glances with his partner. Can you describe the men? She describes Roman, describes the others, watches Phillips write it down in a notebook that's seen better days. And you said this happened at your apartment? Yes. No, I mean, it started there. My husband found a wire I was wearing. He assaulted me. Then these men broke in. I thought they were rescuing me, but they weren't. They were... She stops. How does she explain this without sounding insane? They're part of a trafficking operation, using my properties. I have evidence, financial records, shipping manifests, everything. The officers exchange another look, the kind that says they think she's mentally unstable. Great. Exactly what Merritt's been building toward for months. Ma'am, have you been taking any medications or substances? I'm not high. I'm not crazy. I have proof. Files, documents. There's an FBI agent who's been consulting on the case. Agent Morrison. You can call her. Verify everything I'm saying. Phillips writes down Morrison's name. We'll check that out, but right now we need to get you medical attention. You're bleeding, and you might have broken ribs. I'm not going to a hospital. The men who tried to take me, they have resources, connections. They'll know where I am the second I check in. Ma'am, you need treatment. I need protection. Witness protection. Federal protection. Not a hospital room where anyone can walk in. The second officer, Chen, steps away. Talks into his radio. Requesting a supervisor. Requesting someone who can handle whatever the hell this situation is, because 2 beat cops aren't equipped. Tova's phone buzzes in her pocket. The encrypted one. She pulls it out. Text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Meet me at the warehouse. Come alone, or Emily Holt dies. You have 2 hours. No signature? Doesn't need one. She knows who sent it. Her hands are shaking so badly she almost drops the phone. Ma'am? Phillips is watching her. Everything okay? No. Nothing is okay. Nothing has been okay since the night she spilled coffee and thought a mafia boss was her salvation. I need to make a call, she says. You can make it from the station. We're taking you in for your own safety. I'm not going to the station. I'm leaving, right now. Ma'am, you can't just... Watch me. She pushes past them, walks out of the diner into cold morning air, scans the street for the black SUV, doesn't see it. Either they're hiding or they left. Either way, she doesn't have time to worry about it. She needs transportation. Her car, Merritt's car, is parked at the apartment. No way she's going back there. She pulls out her phone, opens a rideshare app, orders a car to a location 3 blocks away, starts walking. Behind her, Phillips is shouting something about interfering with an investigation, about protective custody, about her own safety. She doesn't look back. The rideshare driver is a college kid listening to music too loud. Doesn't ask questions when she climbs in looking like she lost a fight with a brick wall. Just drives where she tells him. Harbor District. 2 blocks from the warehouse. She pays cash, gets out, walks the rest of the way on foot. The warehouse looks empty. No cars outside. No visible security. Exactly like a trap. She goes in anyway. Inside, the space is dark except for natural light filtering through high windows. Her footsteps echo on concrete. Every shadow could be hiding someone. Every sound could be a threat. Tova. She spins. Lucian is standing near the windows, same spot he always stands, hands in his pockets, looking calm, like this is just another meeting. Where's Emily? Tova asks. Safe. For now. Depends on how this conversation goes. So it's true. What Merritt said. You're running the trafficking network. Merritt says a lot of things. Half of them are lies designed to save his own skin. But not this. This is true, isn't it? You own the operation, the shipping routes, the overseas contacts, the whole network. Lucian doesn't deny it, doesn't confirm it, just watches her with those pale gray eyes that see too much. Why? Her voice breaks. Why help me if you're the one I should be running from? Because Merritt and Locke were becoming liabilities, getting sloppy, drawing attention, running operations through properties they didn't fully control, using doctors who kept records, making mistakes that would eventually expose the entire network. I needed them removed, and you gave me the perfect weapon to do it. So you used me. Yes. The word hits like a physical blow. No apology, no softening, just yes. The surveillance team that got killed, that was you. No, that was actually Merritt's people. He panicked when he found out about the investigation, started eliminating evidence. The team was collateral damage. And Torres, your investigator who leaked information, was feeding Merritt exactly what I wanted him to know. Controlled information, leading him to empty the buildings, scramble his operation, make mistakes I could exploit. Emily Holt, the flash drive. Was any of that real? All of it. Her husband really did create forged evaluations, really did die in a suspicious accident. The flash drive is legitimate evidence. I just made sure it found its way to you at exactly the right time. Tova laughs, harsh, bitter. And I believed every word, every piece of evidence, every promise you made about helping me get free. You are free. Merritt will be arrested. Locke will be exposed. The forged psychiatric evaluations will be entered into evidence showing you were a victim. You'll get your properties back. Everything I promised. Except you'll control them through me. Through a partnership, legitimate business, development projects, harbor revitalization. Very legal, very profitable. And the trafficking? Moves to different locations, different routes, more secure, better managed. You never have to see it, never have to know about it. You just collect rent and live your life. While people suffer, people were already suffering, will continue suffering regardless of what you or I do. At least my operation is efficient, professional, fewer casualties, better conditions during transport. I'm not the villain you want me to be, Tova. I'm just the villain you're stuck with. She's shaking, not from fear anymore, from rage. Pure incandescent rage that's been building for 3 years and finally has a target. Where's Roman? She asks. Handling Merritt, making sure he doesn't say anything inconvenient before the police process him. You mean killing him? I mean ensuring he understands his options. Prison with a commuted sentence if he cooperates, or a cell where accidents happen, his choice. And me? What are my options? You work with me. We continue as planned. I dismantle Locke's political career. You testify against Merritt. The trafficking investigation focuses on them as the masterminds. I stay in the background, invisible. You get justice. I get control. Everyone wins. Except the people in your operation. They're not your responsibility. Yes, they are. They're being trafficked through my grandmother's buildings. That makes them my responsibility. Your grandmother's buildings are gone. Emptied. Cleaned. No evidence they were ever used for anything except legitimate storage and import business. Even if you went to the FBI right now and told them everything, even if they believed you, there's nothing to find. No witnesses. No victims currently being held. No physical evidence. Just your word against mine. I have the financial records, the network map I built, which show connections to Merritt and Locke. Not to me. I'm very careful about paper trails. Emily Holt will testify. About her husband being coerced by Merritt, not by me. I've never met her, never spoken to her. My investigator found her, questioned her, brought me information, all very removed, very deniable. He's thought of everything, every angle, every possible exposure. He's been playing this game for years while she's been playing for weeks. So I have nothing, she says. You have your freedom, your properties, your life. That's not nothing. It's not enough. Then what is enough? Revenge? Justice? Those are fairy tales, Tova. The world doesn't work that way. Powerful people do terrible things and walk away clean. That's reality. You can accept it and salvage what you can, or you can fight it and lose everything, including your life. She thinks about that, about the choices in front of her. Work with Lucien and let the trafficking continue under new management. or fight him and probably die in the process. Not much of a choice. But then she thinks about the 6 people who were in that Federal Hill building, the 4 who were relocated, the 8 in the basement near the harbor. 18 people minimum, and those are just the ones she knows about. How many others? How many over the years? How many in the future if she walks away? I can't, she says. I can't just let this continue. Then what are you going to do? Go to the police? They'll dismiss you as a traumatized woman with a history of mental health issues. Go to the FBI? They'll investigate Merritt and Locke based on your evidence and thank you for your cooperation. Neither option touches me. Maybe not, but they'll touch your operation, increase scrutiny, make it harder to operate, force you to shut down or relocate. That's something. Lucien's expression hardens. You're making a mistake. Probably, but it's my mistake to make. She turns to leave, gets 3 steps before he speaks again. If you walk out that door, Emily Holt disappears. Her daughters disappear. They become leverage to ensure your silence. You understand that? She stops. Doesn't turn around. You said she was safe. I said she was safe depending on how this conversation went. It's not going the way I needed it to, so she becomes insurance. You keep quiet. You play along. Or she and her children vanish into the same network you're so determined to destroy. You're threatening children. I'm protecting my interests. Now she turns around, looks at him, really looks at him, sees what she should have seen from the beginning. Not a savior, not an ally. Just another man who takes what he wants and destroys anyone who gets in his way. You killed your sister, didn't you? She says. The one you said used to flinch like me. You killed her. Something flickers in his eyes. Just for a second. Then it's gone. My sister overdosed 8 years ago. After you got her addicted? After you used her the same way you're using me? After she tried to leave? You don't know what you're talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know men like you. Men who see people as tools, resources, things to be used and discarded when they're no longer useful. Merritt was one. You're another. Same poison, different bottle. I'm nothing like your husband. You're exactly like my husband. The only difference is you're better at it. She walks toward the door, waits for him to stop her, physically, with threats, with violence. But he just watches. You're making a choice you can't take back, he says. Good. I'm tired of choices I regret. She leaves. Outside, Baltimore morning is warming up. Traffic building, people heading to work. She walks 3 blocks before her legs give out, sits down hard on a bus stop bench, tries to figure out what the hell she's supposed to do now. She can't go to the police. Lucian's right about that. They'll see a woman with no credibility making wild accusations against a respected businessman. Can't go to the FBI. Morrison is on Lucien's payroll or compromised somehow. Has to be. Otherwise, why wasn't she at the apartment this morning? Why wasn't she coordinating the raid? Can't go back to the safe house. Can't go to the apartment. Can't go anywhere Lucian or Merritt's people might expect. She's completely alone. The thought should terrify her. Somehow it doesn't. Alone is familiar. Alone is what she's been for years, even when surrounded by people. Her phone buzzes. Different number this time, not encrypted, regular call. She almost doesn't answer, then recognizes the area code. Virginia. Hello? Tova Calloway? Female voice. Professional. Clipped. Who is this? Special Agent Rebecca Chen, FBI. I'm calling about a report filed by Baltimore PD this morning. An alleged kidnapping attempt. You were listed as the victim. Tova's heart rate spikes. Yes, that was me. Can you tell me what happened? She tells the story. Abbreviated version, Merritt, the wire, Roman breaking in, the chase, the diner. Leaves out Lucienne for now. Needs to feel out whether Chen is legitimate or another plant. Chen listens without interrupting. When Tova finishes, and you mention to the officers that there's an ongoing trafficking investigation, that you have evidence. Yes, financial records, shipping manifests, network maps showing connections between shell companies and offshore accounts. Who else knows about this evidence? Several people, the wrong people. It's complicated. I'm sure it is. Where are you right now? Tova looks around. Harbor District, near Patterson Park. Stay visible, stay public. I'm 40 minutes outside Baltimore. I can meet you. Review your evidence. Coordinate protection if your claims check out. How do I know you're legitimate? How do I know you're not working with them? You don't, but right now I'm your best option. You can meet me and take the chance I'm real, or you can keep running until someone catches up with you. Your call. Fair enough. Where do you want to meet? Police headquarters, downtown, public, secure. Plenty of witnesses. I'll meet you in the lobby in 1 hour. Chen hangs up. Tova sits there holding her phone. This could be another trap, another manipulation, another person using her for their own agenda. Or it could be legitimate help. Only one way to find out. She stands, starts walking toward downtown. Her ribs are screaming. Her hip is swelling where the SUV clipped her. Every step hurts, but she keeps moving. Takes her 45 minutes on foot. She arrives at police headquarters 10 minutes early. The building is modern, glass and steel, security checkpoints, cameras everywhere. Exactly the kind of place where someone can't just grab her without consequences. She waits in the lobby, watches people come and go. Officers, civilians, lawyers. The machinery of justice grinding forward like it always does. Slow, imperfect, but present. A woman approaches. Asian, early 40s, wearing a dark suit and FBI credentials on a lanyard. Tova Calloway. Yes. Special Agent Chen, let's find somewhere quiet to talk. Chen leads her to an interview room on the second floor. Small, sparse. Table and chairs, recording equipment. The kind of room designed for extracting truth. Chen sits, gestures for Tova to do the same. Before we start, I need to see the evidence you mentioned. Financial records, shipping manifests, network maps. Tova pulls out her phone, pulls up the encrypted files, hands the phone across the table. Chen studies the screen, scrolls through documents. Her expression doesn't change, but something about her posture shifts, becomes more focused, more intense. This is substantial, Chen says finally. Very substantial. Where did you get this? I compiled it, using documents my husband had me sign, documents I copied before leaving, shipping records I accessed through accounts connected to my grandmother's properties. And these properties, they're currently being used for trafficking operations? They were, until recently. The operation got tipped off. They emptied the buildings, relocated the victims, cleaned up evidence. Who tipped them off? Here's where it gets complicated, where Tova has to decide how much to reveal. Lucian's involvement, his control, his threats. There's a man, she says carefully. Lucien Vane. He runs the network. Not my husband, not Councilman Locke. They're middle management, fronts. But Vane controls everything. The shipping routes, the overseas contacts, the distribution networks. Everything. Chen's expression shifts. Subtle, barely perceptible, but present. Lucien Vane, you're certain about this? Yes. He told me himself, this morning, after I figured out what was happening. And he just let you walk away? He thinks I can't touch him, thinks I don't have evidence connecting him directly to the operation. He's probably right. Everything I have points to my husband and Locke. Vane's been very careful about staying removed. Chen sets the phone down, leans back in her chair. Here's what I'm going to tell you, and you're not going to like it. Lucien Vane has been under federal investigation for 6 years. Organized crime, racketeering, money laundering. We've been trying to build a case that sticks. Every time we get close, witnesses disappear. Evidence vanishes. Prosecutors get cold feet. He has resources, connections, people in places we don't expect. Like the FBI? I can't comment on ongoing internal investigations, but let's just say not everyone in federal law enforcement is as clean as they should be. So what are you saying, that you can't touch him either? I'm saying touching him requires perfect evidence, airtight testimony, witnesses who don't disappear before trial. And even then, it's not guaranteed, but what you have here, she taps the phone. This is the most comprehensive documentation of his operation I've seen. Combined with testimony from you and potentially others, this could be enough. Potentially. Nothing's certain, but it's the best shot we've had in years. Tova wants to believe her, wants to trust that someone in authority actually gives a damn about stopping this, but trust has burned her too many times. What do you need from me? She asks. Everything. Full statement. Every interaction with Vane, every piece of evidence you have. Names of everyone involved. I'll need you in protective custody, real protective custody, not whatever half measure you've been working with, federal location, secure, 24-hour surveillance. And Emily Holt, her daughters, Vane threatened them, said they'd disappear if I didn't cooperate. We'll move them immediately, put them under protection. If Vane makes any move against them, that's witness intimidation, obstruction, federal charges we can actually make stick. What about Merritt, my husband? He's in custody right now. Or he was. Roman, one of Vane's people, was dealing with him. Chen's expression darkens. Define dealing with. Making sure he doesn't say anything inconvenient, either through threats or through killing him. I don't know which. Chen pulls out her phone, makes a call. This is Chen. I need a status check on a suspect in Baltimore PD custody. Merritt Calloway. Yes, I'll wait. Pause. Her jaw tightens. When? Another pause. Understood. Send me the details. She hangs up, looks at Tova. Your husband was released 2 hours ago. No charges filed. Arresting officers claim there was insufficient evidence to hold him. That's impossible. They caught him assaulting me on recording before the wire cut out. Recording was corrupted. File wouldn't open. Technical malfunction. Very convenient. Vane got to them, got to the officers, or their supervisors. Made it go away. Probably. Which means your husband is out there right now. And if Vane wants loose ends tied up, he'll kill him, make it look like suicide or accident. One less witness to worry about. Chen stands. We need to move, now. Get you somewhere secure before either Vane or your husband decides you're too much of a liability. I'm already too much of a liability. That's why I'm still alive. He can't kill me without drawing more attention. But if I go into protective custody, if I officially cooperate with FBI, then I become a different kind of threat. So what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting you let me be bait. Let Vane think I'm still out here, unprotected, vulnerable. He'll make a move. And when he does, you're there to catch him. That's insane. That's using you as a target. I've been a target since the night I spilled coffee on him. At least this way it's on my terms. Controlled, with backup. Chen shakes her head. I can't authorize that. Can't put a civilian in deliberate danger. Then don't authorize it. I'll do it anyway. I'll walk out of here and go somewhere public. Somewhere I know he'll find me. Force the confrontation. You can either coordinate it or I do it alone. You're serious. Completely. Chen studies her, calculating, weighing options. What did you have in mind? The waterfront gala. Tomorrow night, big public event. Politicians, media, cameras everywhere. Councilman Locke is receiving some kind of award for his harbor revitalization work. Perfect place to expose everything. Perfect place for Vane to try to stop me. That's less than 24 hours away, that. I know, which means we need to move fast. Coordinate with local police. Plainclothes officers in the crowd. Surveillance, recording equipment. When I expose Locke, when I reveal the trafficking network, Vane will have to respond. Has to. Otherwise, everything he's built collapses publicly. And you think he'll just walk up and confess? In front of witnesses? I think he'll try to stop me. Kill me. Silence me. Grab me. Something. And when he does, you have him on camera. In public. With witnesses. Attempting to harm a federal witness. Chen walks to the window. Looks out at Baltimore stretching below. This is the stupidest plan I've heard in 15 years of federal service. But it could work. It could get you killed. I'm already dead if I keep running. At least this way I go down fighting. At least this way I might actually stop them. Silence. Chen thinking, processing. Finally, she turns around. You'd need to wear a wire. Real one this time. Federal equipment, broadcast quality. So everything said is recorded and admissible. Fine. You'd need to stick to a script, specific accusations, specific evidence. Can't deviate. Can't improvise. One wrong word and defense attorneys tear it apart. I can do that. And if Vane doesn't take the bait, if he just lets you make the accusations and walks away clean, then at least the truth is public. At least people know. At least the investigation can move forward without me being the only witness. Chen pulls out her phone again, starts typing. I'm running this up the chain, getting approval, coordinating resources. But Tova, if we do this, you follow my instructions exactly. No heroics, no improvisation. You say what we tell you to say. You go where we tell you to go. And when I give the extraction signal, you move immediately. Understood? Understood. And one more thing. If this goes wrong, if Vane gets to you before we can stop him, you're not just risking your life, you're risking Emily Holt's life, her daughter's lives, everyone connected to this investigation. You comfortable with that? Is she? Is she comfortable gambling other people's lives on her plan, her desperation, her need to see this through? She thinks about her grandmother, about those buildings, about the 18 people who were prisoners, about the hundreds or thousands more who will end up the same way if she doesn't stop this. I'm comfortable with it, she says. Chen nods. Then let's get to work. We have less than a day to plan an operation that should take weeks. And if we screw this up, people die. So we don't screw it up. She opens the door, calls for someone named Rodriguez. Within minutes, the room is filling with agents, laptops, equipment, maps of the convention center where tomorrow's gala is being held. And Tova sits in the center of it all, watching her final play come together, knowing that in 24 hours she'll either be free or dead. But at least she'll go down swinging. At least Merritt and Lucian and Councilman Locke will finally understand what it means to underestimate a woman with nothing left to lose. The Baltimore Convention Center glitters like a promise under television lights. Crystal chandeliers hang from vaulted ceilings. Orchestra music drifts through the grand ballroom where 500 guests in designer gowns and tailored suits sip champagne and pretend they care about harbor revitalization instead of the networking opportunities and photo ops. Tova stands in the service corridor outside the ballroom, breathing slowly through her nose, trying to keep her heart rate under control. The wire taped between her breasts feels like it's burning through her skin, even though she knows it's room temperature. Federal equipment, broadcast quality. Agent Chen tested it 3 times before letting her leave the hotel room this morning. The emerald gown they gave her fits perfectly. Borrowed from evidence lockup, seized from some white-collar criminal's wife during an asset forfeiture. The irony isn't lost on Tova. She's wearing a criminal's dress to expose criminals, poetic in a sick way. Chen's voice crackles in her hidden earpiece. Sound check. Can you hear me? Tova touches her right ear briefly. The signal for yes. Good. We have 15 agents positioned throughout the ballroom. Plain clothes, 6 more on perimeter exits. SWAT teams staged 2 blocks away if this goes sideways. You remember the script? Another ear touch. And you remember the extraction signal? 2 sharp whistles. You hear that? You move to the east exit immediately. Don't stop. Don't look back. Rodriguez will intercept you and get you out. Ear touch. Okay, Locke takes the stage in 8 minutes for his acceptance speech. That's your window. Wait until he's mid-speech. Maximum cameras, maximum witnesses. Then you walk up those side steps to the stage. We've cleared it with event security. You're listed as a surprise presenter. Nobody will stop you. This is insane. Completely insane. Walking onto a stage in front of 500 people in Baltimore's entire media establishment to accuse a city councilman of running a trafficking network, while the man who actually runs it watches from somewhere in that crowd. Waiting. Planning. Ready to silence her permanently. But it's the only play she has left. She checks her reflection in a maintenance closet mirror. The bruises on her face have been covered with makeup. Professional work. You'd never know she got clipped by an SUV yesterday. Never know her ribs are wrapped tight enough to make breathing difficult. Never know she's operating on 2 hours of sleep and pure adrenaline. She looks almost elegant, almost like someone who belongs here. The door beside her opens. Chen steps through. Dark suit. FBI credentials hidden. She looks Tova up and down. You ready? No. Good. Doubt keeps you sharp. Overconfidence gets you killed. Chen's expression softens slightly, just slightly. You don't have to do this. We can still pull you. Go a different route. What different route? We've been over this. This is it. This is the only way to force Vane into the open. Or force him to put a bullet in your head. He won't shoot me on camera. Too messy. Too public. He'll try something else. Grab me. Discredit me. Make me look unstable. That's when you move in. And if I'm wrong, if he decides scorched earth is better than exposure, then I die. But the truth still comes out. The wire is broadcasting to 3 separate federal recording stations. Even if he kills me, the accusations are on tape. The investigation continues. Chen looks like she wants to argue. Instead, she just nods. Emily Holt and her daughters are secure. Federal safe house in Pennsylvania. Armed protection. If anything happens to you, that they stay protected. I made sure of that. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just survive the next hour and we'll call it even. Chen leaves. Tova is alone again. She can hear the orchestra playing, can hear the murmur of conversation from the ballroom, can hear her own pulse hammering in her ears. She thinks about Merritt, about where he is right now. Chen's people lost track of him after he was released from custody. He could be anywhere. Could be in that ballroom right now. Could be waiting to watch her self-destruct publicly. The thought makes her sick, but worse is the thought of Lucien. He'll be there. She knows he'll be there. Men like him can't resist, can't stay away when their empire is threatened. He'll be watching, waiting to see if she actually goes through with it, waiting to see if she has the spine to burn everything down. She's about to find out. The orchestra stops. A voice over the PA system. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Master of Ceremonies, Senator Patricia Holbrook. Applause. Tova moves to the service entrance, peers through the crack in the door, sees the stage, the podium. The massive screens on either side showing live camera feeds. Holbrook is mid-introduction, talking about harbor revitalization, about economic development, about visionary leadership. Tova scans the crowd, sees politicians she recognizes from television, business leaders, philanthropists, normal people living normal lives built on blood money and willful ignorance. Then she sees him, third row, center aisle. Lucy Yen Vane in a perfect tuxedo, looking like he belongs at events like this, looking like wealth and power and legitimacy. He's listening to Holbrook's speech with polite attention, hands folded in his lap, completely calm. He knows she's here, has to know. Probably has someone watching every entrance. She wonders if he brought Roman, if Roman is somewhere in that crowd with orders to stop her, extract her, kill her if necessary. Holbrook finishes her introduction. More applause. Councilman Adrian Locke walks to the stage. Mid-50s, silver hair, expensive suit, the kind of face that gets elected, trustworthy, competent, hiding a trafficking network behind a smile that probably cost $10,000 in dental work. Thank you, Senator Holbrook, Locke says. His voice is smooth, practiced. I'm honored to receive this recognition for the Harbor Revitalization Initiative. But this award isn't about me. It's about our community, about Baltimore's future, about the thousands of people whose lives have been improved by the economic opportunities these development projects have created. Tova's hands curl into fists. Economic opportunities, that's what he's calling it. While women and children move through those properties like cargo. Locke continues talking. Statistics, success stories, plans for future development. The crowd eats it up, nodding, smiling, applauding at appropriate moments. Chen's voice in her ear. 30 seconds. Stand by. Tova takes a breath, pushes open the service door, steps into the ballroom, heads toward the stage stairs. A few heads turn, curious, wondering who this woman is, wondering if she's part of the program. She reaches the stairs, starts climbing, each step measured, controlled, like she has every right to be here. Locke sees her. His expression flickers. Confusion, then recognition, then something that might be fear. She reaches the podium, takes the microphone from his hands before he can react. Thank you, Councilman Locke, she says. Her voice echoes through the ballroom. 500 people are staring at her now. I'm Tova Calloway, and I'm here to tell you the real story about the Harbor Revitalization Initiative. Security is moving. Two large men in suits heading toward the stage. Chen's people intercept them. Quiet words. Federal credentials flashed. The security guards stop. Confused but compliant. Tova keeps talking. The properties that Councilman Locke has been praising, the ones he claims have created economic opportunities, those properties were stolen, taken from me through forged documents and psychiatric evaluations created by a doctor who was later murdered to ensure his silence. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Phones coming out, recording. The camera operators are focusing on her now. Live feed showing her face on the massive screens flanking the stage. But property theft is just the beginning, she continues. Those buildings aren't being used for legitimate business. They're being used as processing stations, transit points, for a human trafficking network that's been operating through Baltimore's harbor for years. The murmurs become shouts. People standing, cameras flashing. Locke is backing away from her, face pale, trying to disappear into the wings. Councilman Locke has been using his position to provide political cover for this operation, using development projects and revitalization initiatives to hide what's really happening. Women and children being moved through these properties, held against their will, sold into servitude. She pulls out her phone, holds it up. The screens behind her switch to showing what's on her screen. Financial records, shipping manifests, the network map showing connections between shell companies and offshore accounts. This is the evidence. Bank statements showing illegal deposits, shipping records showing cargo that doesn't match declared contents, corporate structures designed specifically to hide the flow of money and human beings. The ballroom is chaos now. Reporters shouting questions, politicians trying to leave, security attempting to restore order. Chen's agents moving through the crowd, positioning themselves. Tova's eyes find Lucien. He hasn't moved, still sitting, still calm, just watching her with those pale gray eyes. But Councilman Locke isn't the mastermind, she says, voice steady, clear. He's middle management. The real architect of this network is Lucien Vane, the man sitting in the third row, the man who owns half the commercial docks in Baltimore, the man who's been running this operation for years while hiding behind legitimate business fronts and political connections. Now Lucien moves, stands slowly. Every head in the ballroom turns toward him. These are serious accusations, he says, voice carrying without microphone, calm, reasonable. Accusations from a woman who, by her own admission, has been diagnosed with mental health issues, who disappeared for 2 weeks, who's currently under investigation herself for financial fraud. I'm not under investigation, Tova says, but you will be, because I have evidence, financial records, witness testimony, shipping manifests, everything needed to prove what you've been doing, what you're still doing. If you had evidence, you'd have gone to the authorities, not staged this dramatic performance. This looks like a breakdown, Ms. Calloway. A very public breakdown from a very troubled woman. He's good. She'll give him that. Turning this around, making her look unstable, making himself look reasonable. But she's prepared for this. I have gone to the authorities, she says. The FBI has been investigating for 6 years, trying to build a case that sticks. And now they have it. Financial records showing your connections to offshore accounts used for money laundering, shipping routes that match known trafficking patterns, witness testimony from multiple sources including the widow of Dr. Raymond Holt, the psychiatrist who was murdered after refusing to continue creating forged evaluations. That lands. She sees it in his face. The widow, Emily Holt. He thought she was leverage, thought she'd stay silent, didn't expect federal protection. So you can try to discredit me, Tova continues, try to make me look crazy. But the evidence exists independent of my credibility. The investigation continues independent of my testimony. I'm just the opening act. Everything else is already in motion. Lucien's expression hardens, the mask slipping. You stupid girl, you have no idea what you've done, who you've endangered. I've endangered you. That's what I've done. And everyone you work with, everyone who profits from this network. I've burned it all down. Everything you built, everything you controlled, gone. Because I couldn't let it continue. Because those people in your buildings, those women and children you treated as cargo, they deserve better than to be someone's property. Idealistic, naive, and ultimately pointless. You think exposing me stops anything? There are a dozen others ready to fill the vacuum. This network existed before me, and it'll exist after me. You've changed nothing except signing your own death warrant. Maybe. But at least people know now. At least the truth is public. At least I'm not complicit anymore. Chen's voice in her ear. 3 men moving toward the stage, east side, armed, SWAT team deploying. Tova sees them, moving through the crowd. Not Roman. Different men. Professional, focused, coming for her. She steps back from the podium, looks for the exit, east side like Chen said. Gunshots explode through the ballroom. Not at her, at the ceiling. Warning shots. Panic erupts. People screaming, running, trampling each other toward exits. The armed men are on the stage now. One grabs her, arm around her throat, gun to her head. "Nobody moves," he shouts. "Nobody fucking moves or I kill her right here." Federal agents have weapons drawn, surrounding the stage. But they can't shoot. Too many civilians in the crossfire. Too much chaos. Lucien is moving now. Toward the stage. Toward her. "Let her go!" Chen shouts. FBI credentials held high. "Federal agents, release the hostage and put down your weapons." The man holding Tova laughs. "Federal agents can't do shit without risking her life. So here's what's going to happen. We're walking out of here. Anyone follows, I put a bullet in her brain." They start moving, dragging her toward the service exit, away from witnesses, away from cameras, exactly what Lucien wants. Her silenced, her body disposed of, problem solved. She goes limp. Dead weight. The man stumbles. His grip loosens. Just for a second. She drives her elbow into his ribs, twists, breaks free, runs. Gunfire. Actual gunfire this time. Bullets hitting the stage. She ducks, keeps running. Chen and her team return fire. The ballroom has emptied. Just agents and Lucien's men and Tova caught between them. She makes it to the east exit, throws the door open. Rodriguez is there like Chen promised, grabs her, pulls her through. "Go, go, go!" he shouts. They're running down a corridor, emergency exit ahead, sunlight visible through the glass doors. Behind them, more gunfire. Agents engaging, taking down Lucien's men one by one. They hit the emergency exit, burst outside into late afternoon sun. A black SUV is waiting. Engine running. Rodriguez shoves her inside, climbs in after her. The driver peels out, tires screaming. Tova looks back, sees the convention center, sees police vehicles arriving, sees Chen coordinating her team, sees Lucien being led out in handcuffs. It's over. Actually over. She slumps against the seat. Can't quite believe she's alive, can't quite process that it worked. "Where are we going?" she asks Rodriguez. "Safe house, different one. We'll debrief. Get your full statement, then witness protection until trial." "Trial." "Right. This isn't done. It's just beginning. Months of testimony ahead, maybe years. But she's alive to give it." The SUV takes her to a house in Columbia, suburb between Baltimore and D.C. Normal looking, 3 bedrooms, fenced yard. Federal agents stationed in an unmarked car across the street. Chen arrives 2 hours later, exhausted, blood on her sleeve from some injury Tova can't see. "You okay?" Tova asks. "I'm fine. 2 of Lucien's men are dead, 3 in custody, including the one who grabbed you. Lucien himself is in federal custody. So is Councilman Locke. We executed warrants on 14 properties connected to Meridian Coastal Properties. Found evidence in 3 of them. Traces of human presence. Documents, communications, enough to support the charges. And the people? The ones who are being held? Still looking. We have leads. Tips coming in since your speech went viral. And yes, it's viral. Everyone with a phone recorded it. You're all over social media, news outlets. The whole country is watching Baltimore right now." Tova doesn't know how to feel about that. Famous for being a victim. For being the woman who brought down a trafficking network. She didn't want fame, just wanted to stop the suffering. "What about Merritt?" she asks. Chen's expression darkens. "We found him 2 hours ago, dead. Apparent suicide, pills and alcohol. Left a note confessing to fraud and conspiracy. Convenient timing. It wasn't suicide. No, probably not. But proving that's different. Lucien's people are very good at making murders look natural. We'll investigate, but don't hold your breath. So Merritt's dead. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of abuse, 3 years of him controlling every aspect of her life. And now he's just gone. Erased. She should feel something. Relief maybe. Vindication. She just feels tired. "What happens now?" she asks. "Now we build the case. Properly this time. Grand jury indictments, discovery, plea negotiations. Some of the people we arrested will cooperate, trade information for reduced sentences. That information leads to more arrests, more warrants, more exposure. This is going to take years to fully dismantle, but we're dismantling it." "And me?" "You testify. Multiple trials probably, Lucien's, Locke's, maybe others. Then witness protection, new identity, new location, new life, the whole package. New life. Tova tries to imagine that. Being someone else. Living somewhere else. No ties to Baltimore, no ties to her old name, no ties to anything she knew before. Sounds like freedom. When do we start? She asks. Tomorrow? But tonight you rest. Doctor's coming to check your ribs. Make sure you didn't break anything during the extraction. Then sleep. Actual sleep. You've earned it. Chen leaves. The house settles into silence. Tova sits on the couch in the living room, watching evening light fade through the windows. She thinks about her grandmother, wonders what the old woman would say about all this, about the properties being reclaimed, about the trafficking network being exposed, about Tova finally standing up and fighting back, probably something sarcastic. Her grandmother wasn't sentimental, wasn't given to praise, just expected people to do what needed doing and move on. Tova did what needed doing. The question is what comes next. Bam. 6 months pass in depositions and grand jury testimony and endless debriefings. The case against Lucien Vane and Councilman Locke expands. New evidence surfaces. New witnesses come forward. The network is larger than anyone suspected. Connections to operations in 3 other states, connections to overseas trafficking rings in 6 countries. It makes national news. International news. The kind of case that launches careers for ambitious prosecutors and ruins them for corrupt ones. Tova testifies at Lucien's trial in April. Federal courthouse in Baltimore. Maximum security. She walks into that courtroom wearing a conservative dress and sensible shoes, and she tells the truth. All of it. Every manipulation, every threat, every moment of him using her to destroy his competition while pretending to save her. Lucien's attorney tries to discredit her, brings up her mental health evaluations, the forged ones, brings up her disappearance, brings up her relationship with Merritt, makes her look unstable, traumatized, unreliable. But Chen's team anticipated this. They have corroborating evidence. Emily Holt's testimony about her husband being coerced, financial records showing money transfers, shipping manifests showing trafficking patterns, physical evidence from the buildings, communication records showing Lucien coordinating operations. The jury deliberates for 3 days, returns guilty verdicts on all counts. Racketeering, money laundering, human trafficking, conspiracy to commit murder. Lucien receives 43 years federal prison. No possibility of parole. Councilman Locke gets 36 years. His political career over. His reputation destroyed. His development company bankrupted. 14 other men connected to the operation receive sentences ranging from 8 to 25 years. Some cooperate. Some don't. All of them lose. The buildings, Tova's grandmother's buildings, are seized as evidence and later auctioned. The proceeds go to victim compensation funds and anti-trafficking organizations. Tova doesn't fight it, doesn't want the buildings back. They're contaminated now, stained. Better to let them be repurposed by people who will use them for something decent. Instead, she takes the insurance settlement for Merritt's death. $2 million in life insurance she didn't know existed, and she does something with it. The Siren Foundation opens on a gray October morning. Renovated warehouse in Canton, not one of her grandmother's properties, different building, clean slate. Inside, it's bright, modern, open spaces filled with desks and computers and filing cabinets. Tova stands in the main room, watching volunteers set up. Legal aid workers, financial counselors, social workers, therapists. Everyone here has either survived domestic violence or trafficking or both. Everyone here understands what it means to rebuild from nothing. You ready for this? Chen asks. She's standing in the doorway, off duty. Here is a friend, not an agent. No, Tova says, but I'm doing it anyway. The Foundation's mission is simple. Help survivors of domestic abuse and exploitation recover financially. Teach them how to find hidden assets, how to expose fraudulent documents, how to rebuild credit destroyed by abusive partners, how to reclaim property stolen through coercion. The same skills Tova used to bring down Merritt and Lucien. Now she's teaching them to others, giving them the tools to fight back. It's not enough. Will never be enough. Can't undo the suffering, can't erase the trauma. But it's something. It's a start. The first client arrives at 9 a.m. Woman in her 30s. Black eye poorly concealed with makeup. two small children holding her hands, looking terrified but determined. Tova greets her, shows her to a consultation room, sits across from her at a simple table. "Tell me your story," Tova says. And the woman does. The foundation runs for 2 years before Tova enters witness protection. The FBI catches wind of threats. Contract put out by associates of Lucian's operation. Not immediate. Not credible enough to panic, but enough to warrant relocation. So Tova disappears. New name, new city, new life. She leaves the foundation in the hands of her deputy director, a woman named Sarah who survived 15 years of trafficking before escaping. Sarah runs it better than Tova did. More passion, more fire, more personal understanding of exactly what clients are facing. Tova settles in a small city in Colorado, works as an accountant for a nonprofit. Quiet job, boring job, perfect job. She lives alone in a one-bedroom apartment. No pets, no relationships, no complications. Sometimes she thinks about Baltimore, about her grandmother, about the buildings, about Merritt and Lucien, and all the people who thought they could control her. Mostly she just lives. One morning, 3 years after the trial, she's having coffee at a cafe near her apartment when she sees him. Different name, different appearance, heavier, beard now, but she'd recognize those eyes anywhere. Roman. He's sitting 3 tables away, reading a newspaper, hasn't seen her yet. Her hand goes to her phone, should call her handler, should report this, should trigger whatever emergency protocol exists for blown cover. But she doesn't. Instead, she stands, walks to his table, sits down across from him. He looks up, recognizes her immediately. His expression doesn't change. "Small world," he says quietly. "Not that small. You followed me here." "No, I live here. Moved 2 years ago. Witness protection, same as you. Turns out cooperating with federal investigators gets you a new identity too." "You cooperated?" "Testified against 3 of Lucian's lieutenants. They're serving 20 years each because of me. So yeah, I cooperated. Couldn't really go back to the organization after that." They sit in silence. 2 people who tried to kill each other once, now just 2 people trying to live quiet lives far from Baltimore. "You ever miss it?" Roman asks. "The action, the intensity, the feeling of being at the center of something important." "No," she says. "I miss feeling safe. I miss trusting people. I miss not waking up checking windows and doors. But the action? Never." "Fair enough?" More silence. Then, "Why didn't you kill me that day? At the apartment, you had orders. You could have." He thinks about that. "Because you reminded me of someone. My sister. She was in a bad situation, abusive relationship. I didn't help her, didn't even try, just told her to handle it herself. She died. Overdose. Maybe accident, maybe not. I'll never know. But I know I should have helped, should have done something. So when I saw you, when I saw how desperate you were to stop Lucian, even though it meant risking everything, I couldn't do it. Couldn't kill someone trying that hard to do the right thing. Espes. So you let me run. So I let you run. Got me fired, got me targeted. Got me sitting in front of federal agents explaining everything I knew about Lucian's operation. Got me here. Which I guess is better than prison. So thanks for that." She almost smiles. Almost. "You're welcome." He goes back to his newspaper. She goes back to her coffee. 2 survivors. 2 people who'll never fully escape what happened, but at least survived it. That's something. That's enough. Dates. 5 years after the trial, Tova receives a letter, forwarded through her witness protection handler. No return address, just a name she recognizes. Emily Holt. She opens it carefully, reads, "Dear Tova, I hope this letter finds you well and safe. I don't know where you are now, don't want to know, better that way. But I wanted you to know that my daughters and I are okay. We're settled, different state, different names, different lives. But we're okay. My oldest graduated high school last month. Full scholarship to college. She wants to be a prosecutor, says she wants to fight for people who can't fight for themselves. I think she gets that from you. From watching what you did. From seeing someone stand up even when it was terrifying. I think about you often. about your courage, about your willingness to risk everything to stop something evil. I'm not sure I ever properly thanked you for that. So thank you. Thank you for seeing what needed to be done and doing it, even though it cost you everything. Raymond would have been proud. He always said the measure of a person isn't in avoiding mistakes, but in fixing them. You fix something broken, something terrible, and a lot of people are alive and free because of you. I hope you find peace. I hope you find happiness. I hope wherever you are, you're safe and building a life worth living. With gratitude, Emily Tova reads the letter twice, folds it carefully, puts it in a drawer beside the other few personal items she's kept. Her grandmother's locket, a photo from the foundation's opening day, newspaper clipping about Lucien's sentencing, small pieces of a life, evidence that she existed, that she mattered, that she did something worth remembering. That night, she dreams about her grandmother for the first time in years. Not the sick version, not the dying version, the young version, strong, vibrant, standing outside those buildings on the harbor. You did good, her grandmother says. I destroyed your properties. No, you saved them, turned them from prisons into weapons against the people using them. That's exactly what I would have done. I'm not you. No, you're better. I just built buildings. You tore down empires. Tova wakes at dawn, light filtering through cheap apartment blinds. Another day. Another quiet morning in a quiet city far from Baltimore. She makes coffee, opens her laptop, checks email, sees a message from Sarah. Update on the foundation. They've expanded, opened 2 satellite offices, one in Philadelphia, one in Richmond, helping 300 clients per month now. Growing. Tova smiles. The network she destroyed is being replaced by a network of survivors helping survivors. Women teaching women how to fight back, how to reclaim what was stolen, how to build lives on their own terms. That's the inheritance her grandmother left. Not buildings, not property, but the understanding that some things are worth fighting for, worth suffering for, worth risking everything for. And if you're going to fight, you fight to win. Tova closes her laptop, drinks her coffee, watches morning sun turn the mountains outside her window from gray to gold. Somewhere in Baltimore, the harbor is waking up. Ships moving through water that no longer hides trafficking networks in plain sight. Buildings being used for legitimate purposes. The city healing slowly from the wounds people like Lucy and carved into it. And somewhere in a federal prison, Lucien Vane is learning what it means to be powerless, to be controlled, to be someone else's property. The same lesson he inflicted on hundreds of others. Poetic justice isn't always possible. But sometimes, just sometimes, the universe gets it right. Tova finishes her coffee, gets dressed, heads to work. Another day in a quiet life built on the ashes of everything she burned down to get here. It's not glamorous, not exciting, not the kind of story anyone makes movies about. But it's hers. And after years of being owned by Merritt and used by Lucien and trapped by circumstances beyond her control, being hers is enough. More than enough. It's everything. Outside, Colorado morning spreads wide and clean and full of ordinary possibilities. And Tova walks into it with her head up and her eyes open and the understanding that freedom isn't the absence of scars. It's the choice to keep walking despite them.